Yeah, 15 seconds. Good morning, live stream. We're having some fun today. Here we go.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is 6:06. Happy Friday. We hope that your morning is going maybe a little better than ours.
Hey, we're on. That's all.
We are.
We gotta listen. I want to give a hearty attaboy to Parker.
Yes.
Normally, I give Parker a little bit of a hard time, not undeservedly, but when he earns an attaboy, up until, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this, folks, less than a minute ago, we weren't sure this show was getting on the air because of computer issues and our technical overlords, and Big Computer was putting its boot on our neck. But Parker persevered, and he got us on the air, and congratulations, Parker. There you go.
Thank you, Brian. I take what I can get here.
You were going to hear some tone and bars if worst came to worse. But no, it was. It's always fun to watch young tech producers run back and forth through a building, and because we've all been there, right? We've all been there. We've watched it. So to watch him run back and forth, I just sat here going, I could offer my help probably, but I'm just going to let him work through it because he's got a thing and he's working with the technical crew and the engineering crew.
And sometimes somebody offering help is the worst thing. It's like, just leave me alone. I'm going to get this. It reminded me of the scene from Broadcast News when Joan Cusack is running to the studio trying to get the thing. Because everybody at some point at their job has been under that deadline. And I know the clock was ticking in Parker's head. And oh my God, if I don't get this done right now, something bad is going to happen. So we've all been there. Everybody, it doesn't matter what job you have. It depends if you can rise to the occasion or if you're going to crumble into a lump. And
Parker did not crumble into a lump. No,
so
Parker was awesome this morning. So thank you very much.
Unfortunately enough, this is not the first time I've had this happen. So
maybe that's an issue for the suits.
I was going to say that might sound more like an us issue than a you issue.
No. It's the computer gremlins. The gremlins are out and fiery today.
They really are. We don't have our senior producer. He can't get into the system we use. His computer isn't working, so we're starting now.
Hopefully he gets that done by the next hour. But listen, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
We've got, today, it's Friday, first of all, so we made it. That's good. But that doesn't mean we're getting off easy. There is a lot to get to today, Jamie. So let's start where we were all excited about this yesterday. Yesterday, Hillary Clinton was going to go in and give her deposition. That's coming up later. The other thing is, when someone tells you who they are, believe them file.
Yeah.
This has been mentioned, Donald Trump talking about nationalizing elections. Going all the way back again to 2020, now a group of pro-Trump attorneys and supporters is circulating a 17-page draft of an executive order that rumor is it could be signed on Monday that would declare a national emergency over alleged interference in the 2020 election. Conveniently skipping over the 2024 election because, of course, he won that one. So that's all right. And also, despite absolutely zero evidence to support the claim of Chinese interference, just so we're on the same page before Jamie lays everything out. The Constitution really is clear about how elections are to be handled. In Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1. See, sometimes I do research too. This is what Article 1 says.
Yeah.
Quote, "The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations, except as to the places of choosing senators." Key there, the Congress may at any time. So
Yeah.
things are. If this doesn't alarm you, and I don't care what your political leanings are, if the threat of this does not alarm you, I don't know where you want to live, because
Yeah.
this can backfire for either party.
Right.
So if you're an
Yes.
American, this should bother you. If you
I
love
mean-
your country, if you love this system, this should scare you.
Absolutely. And let's be clear, this will end up in court over and over and
Of
over
course.
again. The lawsuits are already being written in case this actually happens. And let's also be clear, when we talk about the attorneys and some of these political allies of the president, from late last night, we're finding out that those allies include people like Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell, remember the guy who wants to sell you a pillow, and then Patrick Brine, who has been involved in discussions of this draft to declare this emergency ahead of the midterms.
And remember, just let me throw it on
Yes,
Mike
please.
Lindell, the guy who was found
Yes.
liable for going after the voting machines and had to, well, he's bankrupt now because he lost all his money with these frivolous lawsuits, and then he was sued and he lost. Because, again, no proof. There is no evidence
None.
of anything.
None, absolutely. Now, this has been a talking point for the president for several weeks now. In fact, going back to February 4th, he was in the Oval Office talking to the press, and he started talking about nationalizing elections. This is him. Cut one, please.
What exactly did you mean when you said that you should nationalize elections, and which 15 states are you
I
talking
want to
about?
see elections be honest, and if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway. But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is, I think the federal government, when you see crooked elections, and we had plenty of them, and by the way, we had them last time, but go to 2020 and look at the facts that are coming out. Rigged, crooked elections. If we have areas, take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Pennsylvania. Take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta. Look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And the federal government should not allow that. The federal government should get involved. They can administer the election, but they have to do it honestly.
Do you know all the places he's naming were all places that did not vote for him? They're all metro areas that actually voted for Kamala Harris, not for the president, the current
Jamie,
president.
That is obviously then corrupt. If you
course.
don't vote for me, it's corrupt. And this is coming because if you pull out the focus a little bit, he's polling horribly, which doesn't bode well for Republican legislators running in the midterms.
Right.
They have not done anything to bolster their reputations. So now, in a drastic grab to keep power, he is going to try to do this, hoping that if he puts this executive order in place and declares a national emergency, yes, there will be all the lawsuits. And he will lose those lawsuits, as he has lost every lawsuit based on the 2020 election.
Yes.
However, the courts are not fast.
No.
And if things get slow walked, all of a sudden, now we're in March. Are we going to have a resolution prior to November? We should, if the courts move quickly, because we have a deadline on this case. This is not something open-ended. I fear that, especially when we'll go through the lower courts quickly.
Yes.
When it gets up to, this will go to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
They can walk it.
They can also move more quickly if they want to.
If they
Let's
want
be
to.
realistic.
Of course, all of them can move
Yes.
more quickly
Yes.
if they want to. And I do, I'm still going to hold out a little hope based on their decision on the tariffs.
Yes.
This is a purely constitutional question. This is,
Of course.
so everybody should be able to act quickly in their rulings.
If they can find reason to not allow his tariffs in that 6-3 decision and rule that those were illegally put in place, based on the Constitution, they should be able to unanimously, or they should, you would think, they would be able to unanimously come to this decision very, very quickly. But again, I get it. We don't hold our breath, right?
No.
Now, in case you're wondering what the background of this is, this proposed order would dramatically change how our elections are conducted nationwide. It would require voter ID, mandate hand-counted paper ballots, ban electronic voting machines, and eliminate most mail-in voting, allowing only limited exceptions. Now, supporters, of course, say that they want the changes in place before the midterms. Backers of this plan argue that declaring a national emergency gives the president authority to act on election rules, citing claims of foreign interference. Now, U.S. intelligence agencies have repeatedly concluded that there is no evidence that foreign actors changed vote tallies or election results in 2020 because, again, remember, this all goes back to 2020, not 2024, because he won the election.
He won that one.
Right. So Florida attorney Peter Tickton, this is a name you're going to probably hear over the next few weeks, involved in this particular executive order. He says he has been in contact with the White House and argues that action must happen quickly because the primaries are approaching. That's the other thing. You look at what's happening here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We have 2 elections. We have one on April 7th, and we actually have 3 more elections. Then we have the one in August, and then, of course, we'll have the midterms in November.
We love us some voting in Wisconsin.
We do. We really do. Tickton also represents former Colorado clerk Tina Peters. Remember her? She was the one in prison for breaching voter equipment after the 2020 election. She's the one with the really long hair, took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Trump has publicly supported voter ID requirements and restrictions on mail-in ballots in recent social media posts. He is also backing that Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to even register to vote and identification to cast a ballot, which is already a thing. So, okay. It just makes it stricter. That bill passed the House. It faces significant hurdles, though, if it makes it to the Senate. You know, it might be why the Senate's maybe slow walking. Maybe they already had wind that this was coming and they're just waiting to see how this plays out. Who knows? Now, the White House says that staff regularly communicate with outside advocates who share their policy ideas, but cautions that speculation about any potential executive orders is just that. It's just speculation. Now, former Trump advisor Steve Bannon,
he's
there's
still
a
around.
name, yeah. He also has discussed this proposal pretty publicly and repeated unsupported claims of Chinese interference. Now, as you can imagine, the Democrats are wholeheartedly against all of this.
How is anyone still believing that lie? How is anyone, and what's funny is, and I hate whataboutisms, but this one I have to do. Kamala Harris lost the last election. There is wild speculation that based on some comments that the president made and that Elon Musk made, that Elon Musk may have interfered in the election.
Sure.
But Kamala Harris lost. She was not happy. She went away. She's not still harping about election irregularities and a stolen election. People believe that the last election was fine.
Mm-hmm.
They still buy into this garbage that the election in 2020 was rigged and stolen and this. And no matter how many times the courts and the intelligence community and everybody else says no, they still believe what they're being shoveled at from this administration and the 2020 election.
This isn't about voter ID. This isn't about ballot counting methods. This is because the president lost in 2020. He still can't grasp the fact that he lost an election. And this is right now about whether or not the executive branch can override states' constitutional roles in running the election. They are trying to override the Constitution right in front of us, and none of us should be okay with that. None of us. It is 6:19 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. J.D. Vance was in Wisconsin yesterday. Oh, boy. Here we go again. It's the Civic Media Network.
Okay, I'll be over in A1 in a minute.
Getting your steps in today, Parker. Run it. All right, if you're watching on the stream, Parker is
We're going to do a play-by-play. Here we go.
He's going to race from one studio to another.
He's
Soon
got
you will
time.
see him appear.
It's only a couple hundred feet. He can make that, no problem. Thank you so much for listening on the stream this morning.
Thank you.
Roger, we see your comment. over there on Facebook. With all
And-
these court cases, the only people getting rich are the attorneys. Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Now, for the people who were calling during the first segment, there were a number of people calling. We couldn't take calls during
No.
that first segment because Parker was in the other studio, and it's a
Yeah.
whole thing, and I don't understand it. But now we'll
None of us
be
do.
giving out the number. We should be able to get to phone calls, hopefully.
But thank you. Thank you
But
for
thank you
listening,
for
and thank you for
trying.
wanting to
Yes.
participate. We appreciate
yeah.
it very, very much. You're doing much better than our senior producer this morning, who we still can't find him.
Ooh, shots fired.
He can't
was
get
here.
in.
He was
can't
here,
get into our
and,
system.
and he had his computer malfunction, and so we did see Frank this morning and talked to him for a little bit.
I
and
talked
now
to him
he's
about
gone.
5 words until I lost audio in
That
the
is-
midst of fixing everything. So, but it's
I
good.
would no, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to knock on wood because
Frank just chimed in on social media saying your boy is struggling. Yes.
Oh man, hang tight, Frank. You can do it.
Persevere. You've got this.
Frank's also moving, so who knows what
is.
There's all kinds of craziness going on.
Who knows
there.
what cord got knocked loose in the midst of all of it. It's funny. I was going through a bunch of boxes to take to Goodwill over the weekend and found an old file of we eloped. So it was a file of some of the stuff for our wedding party. And our 19-year-old was going through it last night. And he goes, how come I didn't know that the song you first danced to was The Way You Make Me Feel by Michael Jackson, followed by Fire by the Pointer Sisters? He's like, you guys might be cooler than I actually thought. I was like, did you really? I said, hello, did you just meet me? Welcome to the family. I'm your mom. Did you actually think we were going to do something slow and sappy?
All right, we
Yeah,
got
but-
10 seconds here.
They get to that age where they start to realize, oh, okay, they're not too bad.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is 6:22. Happy Friday if you're listening in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS or in Richland Center on WRCE. Thank you so much for having us on. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. If you want to get involved in the program, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. We're back up and running with phones and texts, so thank you to the people who are
maybe
calling.
not
before.
phones quite yet.
Maybe not
Maybe not
phones.
phone- okay.
Yeah, all right.
We're
well,
still working on that.
Text it, but we're here. We're glad you're listening.
Text
All
us.
right. Let's, we were talking about the president
J.D.
and his
Vance.
unconstitutional move to try to nationalize elections. His lapdog, J.D. Vance, was here, all duded up in an identical suit to the president. They all dress exactly the same. J.D. likes to accent it with a little eyeshadow or eyeliner, but that's fine. Anyway,
You
he
know
was
they
at-
get a bulk deal on those suits by all dressing the
It
same.
must be. It's like one of those websites where you outfit a wedding. They just
Yeah.
outfitted the government in the
They're
navy
very
suit, the white
shiny and
shirt, and the
cheap
red tie.
material, too, just in case anybody's wondering.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
No.
So JD was in Plover yesterday at Point Precision. He was supporting the economic policies, which we're all big fans of. It was part of a campaign by the White House to get out and show everybody that, hey, it's okay. We're in the battleground districts. We're going to try to convince you that everything's nice, and we want you to focus on our economic policies, not the ones that make everything cost more or the fact that we've lied to you repeatedly about who pays for tariffs. But the other economic, the Dow is up 50,000. Though to a lot of people, they're like, I'm not involved in the stock market. I can't afford to be involved in the stock
Right.
market. So you're really not talking to me, JD. He was all wound up yesterday, Jamie.
He was very fiery yesterday, and he basically covered all the oldies but goodies, going all the way back to how evil Governor Evers is for reluctantly and refusing at this point to hand over any sort of SNAP benefit rolls or voter rolls. So he brought it all out yesterday.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Including the economy, rural health care. I mean, we covered it all in about an hour, essentially. And he was speaking at Point Precision in Plover. He urged, this was my favorite part, because in that particular room were Derek Van Orden, Tom Tiffany, Glenn Grothman. They were all there to
Sure
support
they were.
J.D. Vance. And he actually urged support for Derek Van Orden, who is seeking a third term in Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. This is a race that political analysts say is essentially at this point a toss-up against Rebecca Cook. Now, Vance criticized congressional Democrats on taxes and border policy and said that Republicans want to keep control in the hands of leaders who support the president's agenda. Cut 2, please.
Do we want to give power back to the people who opened our border, who raised your taxes, who won't even cheer for a 6-year-old girl who was wounded because of their bad policies? And I think our answer to that is hell no. We want to give power back to the people like Derek Van Orden who fight for us.
We're going to get the right people elected. He and Kristi Noem on the same page. And wow.
Yes.
Wow. He also said he was the coolest VP.
He did.
Which,
he did.
Big red flag, folks, in general. And you know this from high school and middle school. You remember this. If you have to say you're cool, you are 100% not cool.
I mean, that's like your dad going into, you know, I mean, it's essentially him biking up his pants saying, oh, look at how great I know. That's not what we're doing here. And who cares if you're cool? You're the vice president. Nobody cares if you're cool.
And we all see through your. This is what I talked about the day after on Wednesday about feeling like there are two countries. And this administration does not represent the country that I'm part of, because they lump every Democrat, whether they're a representative or just you and I, into the same group, and we are evil and we have ruined the country.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
No.
And I don't respect anybody, and I also don't respect Democrats who think all Republicans, meaning voters and everybody, are the ruination of the country. Let's be honest. The ruination of this country comes from the top. Whether you believe it's a Republican administration or a Democratic administration, it's the top. But they want you to believe that we are all the problem. That if you vote, if you hold Democratic beliefs, if you don't believe and support everything that the president says, that you are not American. And man, that aggravates me.
You know, after his speech, too, Vance started taking questions about rural hospital closures, the impact of tariffs on farmers. He pointed to a federal rural hospital fund that has directed more than $200 million to Wisconsin and said the administration is listening to farmers concerned about the trade policy. And when you talk about being American, when I was listening to the comments he was making during the press conference afterwards, I didn't feel that American togetherness that we like to tout in this country, because essentially it was, well, we're doing all these great things for you, so you should just like us. I mean, that was essentially the vibe that he was giving out standing in Plover.
Well, he also blamed all the rural hospital closures on the Biden administration.
Yes.
The rural hospitals have been closing for a while. Did they happen under the Biden administration? Yes, of course. But it's because of there's no money being funneled into these rural hospitals. There's not pay for doctors and nurses. Where people don't have insurance. It's a very, very difficult problem. But it's easy to just blame the Democrats. And I'm wondering how farmers took that when he said that his quote was, "You ask how we're going to work with local farmers, especially in central Wisconsin, and the answer is just to listen." End quote.
And then do what?
Do what? Yes. Oh, hey, we listened to you. What'd you do? We listened.
We slapped on more tariffs that actually had us bring in more goods from overseas and then actually lowered your prices. That's what we did. That's how we listened. How is that helping anybody? That's not benefiting anybody. It is 6:29 right now. You are listening to...
It's Friday, man. Let's go.
Oh, my gosh. You're listening to Daybreak. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Hillary Clinton gave her deposition yesterday. We'll talk about that after the break on the Civic Media Network.
Let's see.
I believe it was Ted in Appleton and Mark in Prairie du Sac. If you're listening to the live stream, please call back. I'm sorry I couldn't screen your calls. I believe you're having a tech error there.
And he's off again.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. We've got a bunch of messages coming in on social. Alicia says, my kids couldn't believe I listened to My Chemical Romance before they were born. Ah. All right. Cornell, Trump is pushing a communist agenda. Yeah, that's most. Oh, look at you. Thank you. Checking all the boxes. You're the best. You gotta like get Parker like a drink after this or something.
How about it? Order in some mimosas for the last hour.
Right?
It's Friday fun.
There we go.
Absolutely. Have we heard from Frank? Is Frank a living or did
He was on the live stream.
I saw he was on the live stream.
I imagine he's watching on his phone right now. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
You tell us, Frank.
Frank's
How
got
we
an
doing,
hour.
Frank?
Frank's got an hour before Swiper stay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is well, at least it's a Friday. If this was
It
a
is a
Monday,
Friday.
we'd be like, oh, we got a whole week of this garbage.
Yeah, no,
with
it's-
everything breaking. It's Friday. We have 2.5 more hours to
Frank.
get through it. I'm very much on my phone. I hope you're calling every tech guy every engineer from the station and trying to get them to help.
Oh, I will be there, Brian. He says.
I know you will. I don't listen.
We don't have a doubt.
I don't doubt it. I'm just
No,
saying. At
this
least
sucks
he's
for
got.
you.
At least the pressure isn't like Parker. We're going on the air in 28 seconds.
Yeah.
Can you please?
Yeah.
Can you please figure this out?
Run, Parker, run. It was kind of like Forrest Gump there for a moment. Run,
Yeah.
Forrest, run.
It's my favorite thing is it's like at first it's like kind of a regular walk and then it gets a little faster, and then I'm running.
Yeah.
Say, oh, I'm in the wrong room and we have 15 seconds. Cool.
Well, you handled it well.
Oh, thank you.
Cornell saying on the live stream this morning, if the states get a backbone, the states can throw out ICE agents with the 1790 Bill of Rights, the 9th and 10th Amendment. I'd have to look more into my amendments and do some reading. You know, that's just light reading on the weekend for me
Yeah.
when I dive into the constitutional amendments.
Yeah,
Actually,
sounds
what we
right.
should do is bring in, we're going to have to bring in a constitutional
Can we just do
attorney
a
here.
dramatic reading of the
Yes.
Constitution?
I think that would be the best way to proceed in
On
our
a
current
very
times.
special daybreak, Brian and Jamie read the Constitution.
Can we have an interpretive dance behind Jamie or Brian?
I think you're there. You can dance.
I mean, that's true. I did do theater.
I think you put on a unitard and a George
Yes.
Washington wig and hat, and then just
Oh.
stand behind. And
Yes.
That's a lovely look.
Or we could put you on the screen behind us somehow, or yeah, we could.
We could pre-record a video.
There we go.
And I can go on the video on the TV behind you. There we go.
That's it.
Now
There
we're
you go.
talking.
Because if you're watching on the live stream, you can see. Well, my head's in the way. You can see the big new shiny logo on.
Yeah, we're fancy.
We are fancy.
We're like a
Fancy
real.
schmancy.
We're a real
Fancy.
show.
We try anyway.
But how many shows have you seen with? Oh, they got all the marketing, they got all the merch, and
Yeah.
then the show is.
Well,
Quite a few.
I won't ask the listeners what they think. We'll just keep in our
We're
own
gonna
head.
keep doing the show.
In our own
We
head,
did need-
we are
we
the
did need-
greatest thing ever.
We did need a logo and stuff.
Yeah, we
so-
did.
We did.
So it's good. We're
What are we talking
good.
about? Hillary Clinton. Okay.
Hillary Clinton.
In our own mind, we are the greatest thing ever. So
I,
we're going
I
to keep believing that.
you have to do this. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like
I suck. I guess I'll do a show again.
Self-deprecating and then at the same time thinking you're the greatest thing ever. That is how you get through.
that's right. The self-deprecation humanizes you, Jamie.
That's
if we
right.
came out here and went, well, and there have been some very successful radio
Yes.
people and TV people who come in and like they know everything and they are the
Yeah.
be all end all.
Yeah.
All right. We got a little more than 15 seconds.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
We hope you're having a great morning. Happy Friday, by the way. I feel like we have to say that and cheer for something good every single day of the week at this point because the news is not always great.
The news is not always good, but I will give a tease. In the third hour, we have great news.
Yes,
we have
we do.
unbelievable news based on something that we talked about yesterday. There's your tease, making you stick around till at least 9 o'clock.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We were actually surprised when this happened yesterday, so we are more than excited to share our big news with you coming up at what is it, around 8:20 this morning. Look at me do math on the fly.
That was very good. I was also very excited for the prospect of Hillary Clinton giving her deposition yesterday. You know, Bill Clinton is going to be deposed today, but Hillary went in yesterday to testify before the Republican-led House Oversight Committee as part of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. And if you thought Hillary was going to go in and be demure and be very soft-spoken, you don't remember Hillary Clinton. She did not disappoint, Jamie. She came in guns blazing, and she put everybody in their place, and then she walked out triumphant.
Yes, she did. In sworn testimony that was delivered behind those closed doors in New York near her Chappaqua home, Clinton said that she does not recall ever meeting Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal activities. In fact, she said that she never flew on his plane. She never visited the island or his properties and only encountered his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, a handful of times. And she stated clearly, I had no idea about their criminal activities. Now, she also criticized the Republicans, accusing them of conducting what she called a performative effort at transparency.
Yes.
She noted that the deposition was closed to the media and said no public hearings had been held despite repeated calls for openness. She actually addressed the press following the deposition. Here's what she had to say. Cut 3, please.
I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet. That was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me.
Well, when you have Lauren Boebert in the room and Anna Paulina Luna, yes, Boebert, yes, she got herself in a little trouble yesterday during this hearing.
Supposedly sent out a picture to a podcaster who immediately published it, and then they had to pause the hearing. But what I love about listening to that clip of Hillary Clinton, she sounds like she's sitting with her friends with a glass of Chardonnay just complaining about her husband. She has that tone like, I am so over you and this and everything that's going on. And then I had to talk about UFOs. Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing. If the Republicans want this to be serious, right? And let's be realistic. We know that it was not done for any other reason than to appease the president of the United States and to take pressure off of his 38,000 times mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files. If you want to be taken seriously and you want people to think that you are actually serious about governing in some sort of rational manner, you don't bring up things about UFOs and Pizzagate. You just don't do it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
There's not a serious person in that administration. They are, to the person, non-serious people. They don't know what they're doing. They're in over their head. Again, and I agree with Hillary Clinton, that this was a faux hearing about transparency because there is no transparency. Her question to them repeatedly is, if you're giving me and my husband all of this scrutiny, why isn't everybody getting this scrutiny? And that's a fair question.
Which I think is interesting because before this deposition took place yesterday, House Oversight Chairman James Comer defended it, saying that it is bipartisan, that the American people deserve answers. Republicans are arguing that the Clintons have not previously provided detailed responses about their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Here was James Comer outside the Capitol before this, or outside of the deposition location before it started. This is cut 4, please.
It is a bipartisan investigation. The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process. But we have a lot of questions. And the purpose of the whole investigation is to try to understand many things about Epstein. How did he accumulate so much wealth? How was he able to surround himself with some of the most powerful men in the world? Was he an asset for our government or any other government? These are the questions that we're going to ask over the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to get some answers. And as always, we're going to release the transcripts. We're going to release the video as soon as everyone has approved it.
Now, here's
I find
the thing.
that to be. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the Clintons have really smart attorneys. They're also very smart attorneys, right? By practice, they aren't going into this without some sort of promise. And so I feel like if the Republicans are going to try to pull a fast one over the top of all of us, the Clintons' attorneys and the Clintons are going to be like, no. Here's what we agreed to, and this is what you're actually going to do, because they're not going to allow this to happen. And by the way, if you want to find out who was actually involved in all of this, maybe you should start by going to the White House. Just a thought.
The loophole that Comer threw in there was we will release it when it meets everyone's approval. That's not going to happen. So it'll be redacted. But you're right. I have no doubt that the Clintons are keeping receipts, and they will release those receipts because they have offered, in case you forgot, not you, Jamie, but in case anybody else forgot, they have offered to testify in open court, in hearings, open hearings. They
Multiple
were like,
times.
if you want, and Hillary famously threw down in one of her social media posts, if you want to play this game, let's do it in an open hearing where everybody can see it. If you want, that's transparency. To sit in a televised hearing where everybody has the freedom to watch it. We can all hear the exact words. We're not hearing, because people go, well, what if Hillary's lying about what she said? All right, well, then you know what? There's only one way to ensure that that's not happening. Open the hearings so we can see them and hear them.
And let's be realistic. Hillary Clinton is no stranger to these Republican investigations.
No.
Decades in national politics. She and the former president have faced countless hearings. They've faced subpoenas. They've faced their political battles. And this is not new territory for them. This is not anything that you are going to be able to do we gotcha in this with Hillary and Bill Clinton. It's just not going to happen. Now, Bill Clinton, again, has not been accused of wrongdoing by law enforcement for his connection to Epstein. Records show that he did fly on Epstein's private plane multiple times, and a spokesperson for Bill Clinton has said he cut ties with Epstein before his 2019 arrest and was aware of any crimes. The committee says that its investigation is focused on how the federal government actually handled Epstein's case. That is what Comer and this group of Republicans say is actually what they want to get to the bottom of, because asking about UFOs and Pizzagate is certainly going to help you get there. Let me tell you.
I wish Hillary brought a pizza in with her and been noshing on it during the hair. That would have been hilarious. Where'd you get this? Oh, just this little place that I used to go all the time. What?
Right.
Stop it. Nancy Mace tried to get her by asking about Nancy Mace asking Hillary about Bill's interactions with women that had been linked to Epstein, and you can't get her. She was like, "I'm not going to speculate about things I did not witness." So, and that's true. What, if I didn't see it, I don't know about it. What are you asking me for? So it's going to be. I think I count on Hillary being a little more fiery than Bill. Bill is smooth. He
always was.
Yes. Oh, he's a smooth operator.
He is.
So he'll go in today and he'll be forceful. He's not going to, he won't, like Bill Clinton is a charming guy. But today there's not going to be any of that charm. The Clinton charm is not coming out today. The fighter Clinton that made it all the way up from Hope, Arkansas, to the White House. He's gonna be on display today. So it's going to be very interesting. And boy, the Republicans are really overplaying their hand, and it becomes more and more evident every time something like this happens that we're not hearing from the top. We are not hearing from people who are in there, and people are quietly just getting done. And I think Andrew is going to be the scapegoat for this whole thing.
I think so, too.
I think the former prince is going to be the scapegoat. He's going to get blamed for everything. He's already been arrested. Now he's been released, on bond and whatever.
Yeah.
But nobody here, and it pains me to say this, nobody here is taking the fall. And nobody
absolutely.
here is going to be held accountable.
Absolutely. Cornell over on our social medias watching the stream this morning says, when is Trump going to testify? Well, you can probably bet never, not with this GOP government. Here's the thing, though, for me. We all deserve more clarity about how Epstein operated. We all deserve more clarity on who enabled him and whether the government failed along the way, because we all know the government failed along the way. We need to see how that happened. This shouldn't be a partisan fight, and it should be about the accountability of Jeffrey Epstein and obviously finding some sort of peace for the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. If this investigation becomes just another political spectacle, which the Republicans are trying to make it at this point, people are going to eventually tune that out. And if it's conducted fairly and openly, it could actually restore some trust in what's happening over at our DOJ. But at the same time, we can't trust this particular DOJ to do anything with any sort of integrity that doesn't downright just protect this administration as a whole. Because yesterday there were also photos released of Howard Lutnick with Jeffrey Epstein on Jeffrey Epstein's island, Lolita Island. Those were released yesterday. And remember, Lutnick is one of has the ear of the president continuously in this administration.
Boy, I hadn't heard Lolita Island before.
Lolita Island,
That's a
Lolita
horrible
Express,
moniker.
Lolita Island.
Lolita Express I had heard, but Lolita Island, the whole thing is disgusting, and the way it is being handled by our DOJ is just as disgusting.
It's theater right now for them.
It's theater, but it's theater that only has like one of the lead actors on stage. We're not getting a full performance. We're getting the puppet show, but from behind. We're not, we're not seeing the whole thing. We're not seeing the underneath. We're seeing just the surface, and they're praying that that's enough for most people. And I hope, and I think this really isn't, because again, we go back, and sometimes you have to repeat yourself to get the point across. Exposing the Epstein files was a major campaign promise for Donald Trump. All of his acolytes, all those podcasters, Dan Bongino, who was assistant FBI director for a while, Kash Patel, all these people campaigned for Donald Trump on the fact that we were going to find out what was happening in the Epstein files, and now nothing.
Transparency. It's an interesting word that we've obviously lost track of. It is 6:48 right now. We hope you are having a great morning. It's a heavy news day. You're listening to Daybreak. We've got some good stuff coming.
Yes, if you want this weekend, look to the skies and you will feel better. We'll tell you why you'll feel better after this on the Civic Media Network.
Do you know what that was?
No.
That was Bill Clinton on the saxophone.
Oh.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Was that on Arsenio Hall? No.
I have no idea.
Dude, the coolest thing.
It's in a video titled Bill Clinton, Saxophonist.
You got to pronounce that better. Saxophonist.
Saxophonist. I actually held that saxophone. The Clinton Foundation donated it to the museum, the
cool.
broadcast museum. So it came in this giant box with like 8 levels of styrofoam and all of this, and the letter and the whole thing. Yes, and I unpacked it and I set it up in this case it's in a thing with a jacket from Arsenio and all this, but it's
cool.
the Clinton saxophone, and it took a while to get it, but they lent it to us, and I was like, oh. And one of our younger guides or docents goes around, and when he's telling people about this is my favorite part of the whole museum. This is my favorite part of the whole museum.
That's awesome.
Frank, how you doing?
Hi,
You're
Frank.
back. You made it. Thank you for joining us.
I'm back. I want you to know that StreamYard is the only thing that did not work.
Really? That does not surprise
Everything
me.
else
Yeah.
on my computer worked.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a StreamYard issue today.
Yeah. I just kept checking.
Did you try a different browser?
I did.
Well, damn.
Did
Do
you
you
try to
think-
did you try restarting
Do
your
you think
computer,
I could
Frank?
try a different browser?
Frank, did you hit it with a hammer?
Did you unplug it and plug it back in?
I sure did.
Did you try
I did
blowing
it all.
in the port?
Did you swear at it, Frank?
I kind of did.
Okay.
Do you know
Well,
what's
you've run
more-
through the whole checklist.
did.
Good luck.
Do you know what's more annoying than saying all those things out loud when you live with somebody who does that for a living? And you go through all of that, and then they ask you all those questions
Yeah.
again, and I'll be like, are you flipping kidding me right now? I've just done all of that. Now I'm coming to you. Could you fix it? Yeah, that's
Oh, that was
drives
when,
me nuts.
when I was having the problems with the computer at the beginning of when we started. I had Debbie ask her tech guy at the firm, and he was like, "Tell him to restart it."
Oh, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Really? Okay, Johnny IT. Yes, I restarted it. That was okay.
Has
Good.
Your husband tried turning it off and then turning it back on.
Does he know what a mouse is? It's so perhaps there's a green light if it's on. Is that happening? Yeah, he's looking at it. It froze up.
You tell that boomer husband of yours.
Listen, I'm the only one this morning who didn't have tech problems.
This is true.
So
Knock on wood.
I did.
Please, knock on wood.
Listen,
My
I'm
fa-
riding high. I'm ready to
I'm
go.
gonna start smoking after that.
My
Pick a
headphones
bad
just
day to
shocked
stop
my
drinking.
ears. There's so much going on.
I need my 10-minute break.
We got 15 seconds.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 6:52 right now. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. If you want to get in on the conversation today, all you have to do is call or text us. The number is 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. Hey, I'm told we can take both texts and calls now, so we should be good to go.
I'll believe it when I see it. Well,
Oh my goodness.
do you get excited about celestial events, like when you hear about the northern lights are going to be visible, or we're going to see a meteor shower? Do you get excited by that kind of stuff?
I never used to. And then I married my husband, who is a weather and science person. Obviously, we own a storm chasing company, so anytime we're discussing weather, it's always a big deal. And then we talk northern lights, and we've done more elusive northern lights, sitting by ponds and sitting on frozen lakes and all.
Yes, those northern lights.
He's got some amazing shots. I'll be honest, but
I want
it
to
takes
see
forever
them.
to get there.
Yes, I can't. I've chased them around.
Yeah.
I do. There's a resort in Lapland that I want to go to where you're in glass huts.
Yes.
Sleep and the northern lights surround you. That might be my only hope. But I try to go out and see, like if it's an eclipse.
Yeah.
If it's not a work night, I'll try to go out. And
my older kiddo, when he was younger, he was a huge astronomy buff. So we had the telescopes and all of that at the house. So I got into a little bit more that, here's my thing though. Sometimes all of these events happen at night.
Yes.
And I get up really early.
Darn
and in the
sky.
winter. And in the winter time, it's cold, and now you're asking me to go outside in the cold. And then in the summertime, and I know I sound really whiny here, but
you do
I
a little
then
bit,
I
and you've
have to,
actually adopted a whiny tone when
then
you're saying.
I have to go sit with bugs to watch these things, and I am allergic to mosquito bites. Like I'm one of those people who swell up and they get dollar size. It's a thing, Brian. It's a thing.
I get it. So stay in the house this weekend. For those of us who, it's the weekend. Maybe you're going to be staying up late anyway. This is exciting because if you look to the sky in Wisconsin this weekend, you will have the chance to see a rare parade of 6 planets. 6, count them.
Yes.
That's a lot of them.
2 hands even.
so shortly after sunset tomorrow, Jamie. You're still up at sunset.
I am.
And it's supposed to be not horribly cold tomorrow.
No, it's supposed to be decent.
So 6 planets will appear in the evening sky, including 4 that are visible to the naked eye, and that's according to NASA. Remember them? They used to send people to the moon. It's very exciting. They have a Watch the Skies blog, and so this is happening tomorrow, which I'll be out tomorrow. I'll walk outside. Now, hopefully I'll see some planets. Here's the problem. I am not well-versed enough in astronomy to know the difference between a star and a planet.
That's
I just
the
go,
other thing.
ooh, there's a lot of twinkly. And that's not scientific. That's not NASA-approved terminology.
No, it might be now with Sean Duffy in charge. It could be. We don't know. But
we're getting twinklies. It's a big twinkly storm.
You will need a telescope or some strong binoculars to spot these planets, though. Now, while planets always follow a path called the ecliptic, it's uncommon to see them at this many at once, according to scientists. Alignments featuring 4 or 5 visible planets only happen every few years. So to catch the show, you need to look west about 30 minutes to an hour after sunset during twilight. That's a lot of directions. Clear skies and an unobstructed view of the horizon will be key. See, this is the other reason why I have trouble with things in the sky. It's like it has to be absolutely perfect, the most perfect conditions to see anything in the sky. And I don't believe those perfect conditions always exist.
Don't you live near some forest preserves that you get out of time?
No.
I live by a lot of places where I can see the horizon because I'm in a Unabomber cabin out in the woods.
Oh?
Now, there might be secrets here, and I don't know if those were ones that we should
I didn't say what woods.
Okay, all right.
So what planets are going to be visible?
So the planets visible to the naked eye will be Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. Uranus and Neptune will be part of the lineup as well. Now, some of the best viewing spots in Wisconsin, if maybe you want, like a day trip or go do something fun, enjoy the nice weather, and then watch the planets, will include Newport State Park in Door County, Harrington Beach State Park, Kettle Moraine State Forest, Kohler Andre State Park, Parnell Tower, and areas in Driftless, Wisconsin. So places like Milwaukee, a nearly full moon and cloudy forecast could make viewing a little bit more difficult if skies cooperate, though NASA's saying this should be an incredible celestial display. I think it's cool. I don't disagree.
Don't you have a lake near your house?
No, at our
that's
old
the
house
old
when we
house.
lived in Baraboo. Yeah, now we're just in the middle of a suburb where all the houses look the same. Don't drink too many old fashions or you'll end up at your neighbor's house because you'll have no idea.
Turn into a party. Who knows?
I will say that one thing I find fascinating about astronomy, though, is some of these phenomenons that we see, like these planets lining up, the eclipses. I find that all incredibly fascinating. It's just, when I have to have the perfect conditions.
So you're more of a solar eclipse fan, so you can do that during the day.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
you want convenience from the universe.
Yes,
Big Universe doesn't go for that. Big Universe does what it wants.
This is true. It obviously does. Otherwise, I'd get my way all the time, right?
But listen, it'll give you a moment. If you can go out and see this, it'll give you a moment of relaxation. You'll forget about all the other things, and you'll realize all the problems that we are enduring now in this country and in this world are really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. In your own personal life, they're very big. But it gives you a moment to look up and go, wow, there's some cool stuff out there. And then you wonder where the aliens are.
It's an appreciation thing that you have to have, I think, for some of this. And that's why I am, as much as I do complain through the entire process and whine this morning on the air, I do appreciate it when my husband says to me, grab your coat, let's go. We're going to go, sit in the country and we're going to take some photos. I get bored very easily, but I do always appreciate it when it happens, right? Like that is the part that I can appreciate. So
we had a good time when the Northern Lights were supposed to be visible, and we drove out to the middle of nowhere, and we were waiting and waiting.
Good time.
It was fun. We never saw them, which was disappointing, but it's like, all right, it just made me want to travel a little more.
Sounds like half the storm chases he drags me on, too. 6:59 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. After the break, ice surge in western Wisconsin. It's reminiscent of the Twin Cities. We'll talk about that on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
That's why storm chasing is the worst. It really is.
It's the worst.
Like it's a phenomenal when you actually see these incredible, powerful storms. And let me be clear,
Yeah.
our goal is to always make sure we like to see them over open country, because there's nothing worse than doing what we do and watching, if we're not out chasing, watching them on a map and you see them trekking right through a city,
Right to a town.
and then you start seeing on the radar the debris balls. That is the worst, because there is absolutely nothing you can do in that moment, because
can't imagine.
you know that lives are being destroyed in some capacity, and there's absolutely nothing you can do in that moment. And it is the most helpless, agonizing feeling ever. And we go through it year after year after year because, we've done this for 20 years now. But that's why when you storm chase, though, we always appreciate those storms that stay over open fields and are absolutely perfect because they're not destroying anything. But it's the act of getting there, right? It's the driving, the hours and the hours, and then making sure you're in the right weather parameters, and then having to adjust. And then you sit there and you just stare at the clouds going, wait, is that becoming that could be wrapping up. Is that towering cumulus up there? Ooh, look at the base on, this is what
So
you do. And
you just want to be called in once the storm starts.
Yes.
You want to be
Yes.
at a hotel somewhere.
Yes.
And then just, hey, we got about 10 minutes to the storm. I'll be
Yes.
right there.
Yes.
Zip.
I'll be there
You want
with
the
my
glory.
Mai Tai.
None
That's
of the
right.
work. You just want
That's
the glory. I
right.
get it. Listen, it doesn't sound like a bad plan.
I want to sit there with my Mai Tai. And then you just let me know when the real stuff is happening, and I'll come out then.
So you're going tropical storms with
That's
the Mai
right.
Tai. What do you drink when you're in Omaha watching a tornado?
Well, no.
Flats?
I'll sit by the pool at whatever crappy
Oh,
motel
okay.
we ended up with and pretend that I'm in some tropical location.
All right, there you go.
While I'm watching, the 500-pound guy do a cannonball into the pool, into the deep end. I'll watch that. It's fine.
There is something fascinating, though. Like, even when, when you get a tornado warning and the storm is coming, there's something fascinating about standing out in your yard till the last possible minute going, oh, my God, nature is really mad.
Yeah.
And
that's,
all right, now I'll go to the basement.
That's the really cool part is I think when we've done this as long as we have, and we've seen some of the worst storms, we've lost.
Did you deport them? We
no,
only get rid of the worst of the worst.
We have not deported them.
Okay.
But there has to be such an appreciation for something that is so much more powerful than even what we're going through in this news cycle, right? Yeah. Like these people mean nothing when it comes to what we actually see. And then of course you get into the climate change discussion and all of that as well with it. So it's interesting.
Really quickly while we're in a long break, hey
yes.
Frank, could we just test that your stuff works? Because I just have a feeling.
Parker looks stressed,
We
so
have
let's give the
Swiper's Day coming up, and I just want to make sure that the world hasn't fallen apart.
Parker looks stressed, so let's help a guy out.
Frank!
Did we lose you, Frank? There you are.
Oh, thank God.
No. Can
Hola,
I
Frank.
leave during a commercial break to make a cup of coffee for
No.
1 second?
No, you
I
can't.
just hear
Not
Parker,
today.
Frank, can you come back here? And
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
He looks.
I'm here. Can you hear my drops?
There
Yes.
we go.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Soundboard's working.
Soundboard's working.
Thank you
Echo
for help.
cancellation still annoying, but we'll figure it out.
Thank you for helping him out
Thank
because
you,
he looks
Frank.
really stressed right now.
Parker, everything's going to be okay. You almost had to host Swiper Stay, but other than that, everything was fine.
See, exactly. Thank you, Frank.
At least you had an hour.
That's true. Yes.
I did. I would have connected via phone and figured it out.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't have had our sound effects.
That's all right.
We should give Parker backups of those for this
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
studio.
Good.
Yeah.
I will
We
give you
could.
that.
That would
probably
be
safe.
silly. But
Yeah.
Me.
What else are we but silly?
Today it wouldn't have
Nah.
mattered anyway because you couldn't use your mouse to click them or play
Right.
anything.
Sometimes I wish these were touchscreen,
Yeah. I loved a good touch screen.
depending on what it's for.
Oh, no. I love touchscreen. I could move through a touchscreen so fast because you can just swipe those things. They're
Yeah.
awesome.
Board? No.
No, we didn't have a touchscreen board, but
Yeah.
I loved a touchscreen monitor.
Yeah. That stuff, like sound show. Oh.
Plus, and I knew where all of my hotkeys were.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'd be like, "Ooh, I need to get to page 5." So, and I'd be right there. You know,
the one on this monitor actually has key bindings for each of the ones, so I can do.
Oh, that's lovely.
I randomly clicked a button. I didn't know I was going with the more you know there.
Oh,
that's lovely.
So, yeah.
Tony brought up a good point. We all know Parker is staunchly anti-coffee.
This is true.
This is true. Part of big H2O.
Do you not drink coffee?
Big water?
Either?
Drink coffee. No, I'm a big water guy.
The hydration
too.
industrial complex is trying to keep you down,
Yes.
Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Parker's part of it. It's like the Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
Church.
Once you're in,
Which I
you're
think
in.
is actually a thing.
Church of Scientology?
No, H2O.
They're both a thing. Just to end the
I don't
argument
know.
right now.
Scientology is a thing.
Sounds like a conspiracy to me.
Just to end any debate, they're both a thing. H2O and the Church of Scientology. One should exist, the other should not.
All right, we got 10 seconds here.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
7:06 right now. We hope that your morning is off to a great start. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're in La Crosse, listening on WLCX, and Hayward on WBZH, or right here in Madison on WMDX, we are so glad that you are able to join us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. We'd love to have you as part of the conversation. Jump in, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. We're still reeling from what happened in Minneapolis with the ICE invasion up there, and a January 5th video from an Ecuadorian grocery store in Hudson, Wisconsin, shows a masked, plainclothes federal agent restraining a 12-year-old girl. Sound familiar? Witnesses say the girl was later released, but her mother was taken into custody, and the footage has spread widely and intensified fear in the community. This is how things started in the Twin Cities, and now experts are saying that occupation has expanded into western Wisconsin, where immigrants are being arrested while they're working in restaurants, while they're working on farms and in manufacturing plants. And again, just when you think it's not going to come to your backyard, it comes to your backyard. And not to sound alarmist, but what starts there is going to continue to spread, I fear.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because these were reports that we were starting to hear when ICE was occupying Minneapolis, that they were starting to come into the St. Croix River Valley area. And honestly, I think if you've been paying attention, you knew that this was eventually going to probably happen. And in fact, earlier this week, we got reports that Milwaukee City and county officials are preparing for increased enforcement as well. Now, advocates are saying that this enforcement surge has targeted at least 27 of potential immigrants over the last few weeks. There's been arrests since late December. They believe more have occurred. 27 is just what they say that they know of at this point in time. Mm-hmm. Many immigrant families are now afraid to leave homes. They're arranging rides to school and to work just so that they can avoid being on the roads. Community volunteers have formed a network so that they can monitor enforcement activity and support these affected families. They're raising money for rent. They're delivering groceries. They're coordinating transportation. They're helping with these household needs. A lot of volunteers also say that they've been followed or photographed by agents while observing arrests. We've talked about this. We've talked about the database that is a speculation that DHS is starting to form because of protesters. Tom Homan has talked about this openly. Of course, the borders are. Now, DHS at this point has said this doesn't exist. There's no such thing. There's been reports. People have found it. People have observed it. So we know that this is something that if it doesn't already exist, this administration is working on so that people won't protest and essentially be afraid to do so in these moments.
And everything you described is exactly what was being described in the Twin Cities, where people in the Somali and the Hmong and other neighborhoods were afraid to leave their homes because there were ICE agents everywhere just snatching people off the street. So the tactics are the same. Their playbook hasn't changed, just the location. And the scope has, they brought the scope down a little bit to hopefully in their eyes, go under the radar a little bit. Well,
Right.
if we don't completely occupy an area, and again, they were only in one section of Minneapolis. It wasn't the entire city, but the residents in those neighborhoods, even if they weren't in the particular area where the protests were happening, they were still nervous, and rightfully so, to leave their house.
But that's been the MO of this administration with ICE agents. They do only occupy one small area, and then they claim that it's a hellscape and that there's all hell breaking loose everywhere, where it's really just a one concentrated area. They did it in Chicago, they've done it in LA, they did it in Portland. It's what they've done over and over again. Now, one woman in the St. Croix area says that agents boxed her vehicle into a parking lot. They deflated one of her tires. The Department of Homeland Security has declined to comment on any sort of specific operation, but said it enforces immigration laws nationwide. That's their comment after an allegation like that. Local officials have offered limited public comment. Hudson's police chief said the department will continue cooperating with ICE in cases involving individuals who pose public safety threats. Meanwhile, advocates are saying that the enforcement surge is having a huge economic ripple effect in the area. Several restaurants have had to close. They've had to reduce their hours. Workers have been detained. They've stayed home out of fear. Organizers warn of broader impacts on local businesses and schools. And we actually talked about that in Minneapolis with Sean Fedaplace from Main Street Alliance, where small businesses in Minneapolis had lost up to $1 million at that point in time, just because of the ICE presence and people being too scared to actually leave their homes to go do a job or to even go buy what the necessities they need for, just to survive in this world, like your food, right?
Kids aren't going to school. It's an untenable situation at some point.
There is, what I think bothers me the most about this is that there is a humane way to enforce the law. And there is a way to protect public safety without creating fear throughout communities. And right now, many advocates are saying that humanity, it feels lost. And when you look at what has happened across the country, including Minneapolis, even this lower level of what we're talking about in the St. Croix Valley, because let's be realistic, as awful as it is, it's still not right now to the level that it was in Minneapolis, right? I don't want to demean that.
Well, the St. Croix Valley is not
it's
the
not
same
as large.
size as
Right.
same size as
Right.
Minneapolis, so it would be a true spectacle if that size force came into to the valley there.
But I mean, we also have to, and we talked about this on this program, when Tom Homan announced that forces in Minneapolis were going to be ramping down. One of the first things we talked about right here on this program is, well, those agents have to go somewhere. They're not paying them $50,000 signing bonuses and giving them all this money and this training. We'll put that in air quotes based on what we heard from the whistleblower earlier this week on ICE practices. They have to go somewhere. They're not going to invest in this type of almost like army, militia type enforcement that they're building and then not send them somewhere, right?
Right.
And so it feels like, obviously, at this point in time, this is to make people scared. It's to send a message. And it's basically to make people stay quiet, stay home, make them stay invisible. And then at the same time, play into what we talked about earlier this morning with this nationalized election and this executive order. It's to then say, see how bad things are? We have to declare this national emergency because things are so bad in this country that this is absolutely the only thing we can do. And I know that feels like a little bit of a leap, but when you look at the lines that this administration continues to draw, everything correlates. And I know it doesn't always feel like there's a reason for what they're doing, but there is. There's always a reason for what they're doing.
Well, the other thing is 2 points. One is going back to the humanity comment that you made, because a lot of the supporters of this kind of action are saying, well, look, Joe Biden and Barack Obama deported a whole lot more people. Yes, they did. They deported the people who deserve to be deported. They did it as humanely as you can. They did not occupy cities. They did not round up people who had done nothing wrong. They didn't round up citizens. They didn't kill U.S. citizens. So the argument doesn't make sense. Nobody who is logical is saying that people who are a threat to the communities and are here illegally should not be deported. And I think most of us would agree that people should go through the proper channels. We have made it almost impossible for that to happen, but we're also rounding up people now who are going to their naturalization hearings. People who are doing it the right way, like you want. We're waiting outside the courtroom to snatch them up. So that's all got to be done. So your argument that other people have deported more doesn't hold water, because the way those other administrations deported people was the correct way. They got the job done. And also, you can't have it both ways. These other administrations that are deporting more and more people than this administration, but that they also let everybody in. What side of the argument do you want to be on? Is it, did we deport more people? Did we let all these people in just to deport them? You got to decide. It just, as you the more you talk about this and the more we talk about this, Democrats like to think that there's a lot of Republicans who love these conspiracy theories. The more you connect these lines, and they're right connections, but the more you make those connections, it makes us sound as crazy as the people who believe in Pizzagate or any other wacky conspiracy theory. And it's like, wait, I know I'm not insane, because these are facts. And when you make those connections, they all make sense and they're all facts. But then I'm like, well, we sound just as crazy.
But isn't that the point? Don't they want us to feel crazy?
I guess,
so that we quit questioning what is happening? Right. And it's also about flooding the zone with so much information that you do feel crazy and that you can't keep up. And that is exactly the point. Steve Bannon, if we want to go back to him from an earlier discussion this morning, he's actually named it. He has actually talked about this as a strategy for passing legislation, because they flood the zone so much that people can't absolutely pay attention. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to do it with the Epstein files because they want that to disappear. So if we continue to flood the zone with all of these other things, we'll maybe forget that these exist. And all of these people that might be connected to this administration are named in these files. And then, they start invading these cities with their ICE agents, because let's forget that we're trying to nationalize elections over here, because we want to tell you that this isn't real and this isn't happening, and it's all happening at the same time. And if you think about what we saw in Hudson, think about this for a minute. A 12-year-old girl restrained like a criminal inside of a grocery store, crying as agents are taking her mother away from her. Whatever your views on immigration policy, that is an image that you cannot ignore. That is a child. That was a child being restrained by federal agents. And that is trauma.
Masked men with guns.
That is trauma that child is never going to get over. And then to see her mother be deported in front of her eyes, that's just cruelty. It's cruelty. That's all it is.
Are you amazed? I'm saddened and not as amazed as I probably should be that cruelty is seen as the cost of doing business. Well, if she wasn't here illegally, that wouldn't have happened. There's so many people that are okay with that. And that's, I think, what makes me more sad, more concerned about the future.
That they cheer for it?
Yes, that people people support it, they cheer for it, they vote for it. And I'm sorry, I listen, I try not to call out individual voters, but this is a humanitarian thing. This is not a policy thing. I don't care who you are. If you see that and you don't have a problem with it, that's your issue. You have some sort of problem.
Look, and if you're here and you commit some sort of violent crime and you're here illegally, or you've committed a violent crime in your home country, then yes, I believe you need to be sent back. You need to go through the rights of the Constitution here in the United States, because due process exists even for illegal immigrants. Due process still exists even for illegal immigrants. I will repeat that. But then, yes, I do believe that whatever is determined, if it's determined that you go back to your home country, if you face jail time here, whatever it might be, I believe that is something that has to be done. But we cannot be okay with the cruelty that we're seeing, because that's not what's happening here. It's 7:19 right now. You are listening to Daybreak on this Friday morning. I'm Jamie Martinson.
I'm Brian Noonan. When we come back, it's another edition of Swipe or Stay on the Civic Media Network.
Oh, we get to lighten the mood. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Oh boy. All right, here's an ethical conundrum.
Okay, what's that?
Not for me. Not for me, really. A guy that I've known since first grade. I stood up in his wedding. He and his wife have become very right wing.
Okay.
So we haven't seen them that much. There was no falling out and stuff, and I still text him on his birthday and things like that. But he sent me a note that their 40th anniversary is coming up in July, and they're having a party. And he wants Debbie and I to go. Now, Debbie, last time we all went out to dinner, there was some, little commentary about politics, which I try to avoid at all costs.
Right.
And so Debbie's like, well, I don't want to go. And I know all their friends it's the town in Frankfurt, the town we used to live in. It's really fucking Republican and hardcore. And I know all the people there will be there. And it's I could do my best to not talk politics, but Debbie's like, I don't want to go because, that's what everybody there believes in. And I'm like, part of me is well, I was in the wedding and I've known this guy my whole life. And,
you were in the wedding? You should
probably
go.
Should probably go.
Unless there's a knockdown, drag out fight.
There never was. Yeah. No, there never was. And he and I don't talk politics.
Yeah, I'd go.
Yeah.
Unless you show up and there's
you guys are way better people than I am, because I'd make up some very nice excuse, send a very nice gift, send a very nice card, and with a handwritten note, and I'd be like, and then I'd go away for a weekend with Debbie. But it's way less for your conscience.
This may work out. I also think it's the night of the Mellencamp show.
Oh,
so we could go in the afternoon for an hour. And it's right and it's close. We were going to see Mellencamp anyway, so we could only stop
15
by
seconds.
and say hi.
We just quick.
We have a nice out. Yeah, stop
there
by.
You go.
10 seconds. Here we go.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
It's 7:22 right now, and it is time for Swipe or Stay. And going into the commercial break, we said we get to lighten the mood just a little bit because this has been a really heavy news day. So we are so glad that our senior producer, Frank, is joining us so we can talk about maybe some more lighthearted topics for a little bit on a Friday. Thank you for being here.
And I am excited. Not only am I excited to be here, but I think we've got a pretty good round here. We actually had some good stuff.
Okay, good.
For those of you who've never heard Swipe or Stay before, I'm going to give out vague headlines to pop culture news. Jamie and Brian will have to decide whether they want to stay or if they want to swipe on to the next story. If they tie, Parker gets to be a tiebreaker. He has not had to be one just yet. Let's go to story number one. The highest grossing media franchise of all time celebrates an anniversary today.
Swipe.
Media franchise. I'll stay. Let's let Parker make the pick.
All right,
Parker.
Oh, wow, big shoes here.
Parker, can I give you a suggestion?
Yes, Frank, you can.
I would stay on this one.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking,
okay.
Frank. I'm staying.
Oh, all right.
I heard social media and I checked out.
That's fair.
Do we know what the highest grossing media franchise of all time is? Not social media.
Media
franchise.
Media.
Highest grossing media franchise of all time. The Today Show?
No.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Parker, do you know it?
It's so familiar. What is it, Frank?
Pokemon is celebrating its 30th anniversary. Brian, you didn't know it either. It is the highest grossing media franchise of all
Pokemon
time.
is?
Pokemon?
I believe it.
$147 billion worldwide revenue.
I was just going to,
There's
well,
so much stuff.
there's a bunch of
So
stuff.
much stuff.
I didn't even like Pokemon, and I had a lot of Pokemon. Like, I didn't like it that much, but it was cool. Like, they were little.
Getcha.
Guys, for reference, Mickey Mouse is estimated to only have half of that.
Wow.
You're kidding.
Don't you think, though, it's because it started in the Asian markets and it blew up in the Asian markets first and then eventually became like it went through Europe and then it eventually made its way to the United States? I mean, yeah.
I was a young child when Pokemania like hit the US. So like I grew up on that. I still play the video games as a 31-year-old adult because they're great. Right now, Pokemon card collecting is impossible. I've been following that as well. They fly off the shelves. If you go to like Target and whatnot, they have like disclaimers that you can only buy one product. It's crazy. It's 30 years old today.
Wow.
It is still as insane as it was when I was a kid.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
All
glad
right.
we
I mean,
stayed.
I learned
It's huge.
something.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
I
Hillary
did learn
Clinton, she
something
said
as well.
Pokemon go to the polls.
I don't
It's a
know
big
who
deal.
created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
It is one of the funniest clips from a candidate of all
That's
time. And I
hilarious.
wanted you to say just so I could play that.
And I even gave you the preface for
Way
it.
to
There you
team
go.
me up. All right.
Oh, nice.
We're moving on. An unlikely hero is stepping up for Team USA women's hockey.
I'll say
Oh.
stay. They need some good press right now after
Yes,
the men showed up
I
at
will
the State
stay
of the
too
Union.
because I know this story, and yes, let's give some love.
Flavor of Love star Flava Flav is stepping up to the plate to help Kelly Panic
Flava
get a new
Flav.
car. He posted on X, "This one is for a real need, and I'm a hopeful that an auto company gonna step up." Kelly Panic from the women's hockey team got hit by someone who totaled her car. She needs a new car. Lots of brands commenting that they want to help, but few truly stepping up. Who can help? So Flava Flav right now is putting out his connections, trying to get a new car for her. He also invited the team out to Vegas in July, and the team happily accepted.
I love it.
And a lot of brands have stepped up and said, listen, from sunglasses to shapewear to
Yeah.
bathing suits to beauty products, they're all like, we want to be part of this. So Flava Flav, man, oh man.
He's been a champion for women for a while, right? Like he steps up to the plate for women's sports. He
And
steps up to the plate for a lot of these types of
He
issues.
loves those alpine sports. He loves the bobsleds and all of that. So he's a real one, that Flava Flav.
Flava Flav is the man.
I love
All right,
it.
moving on at 2026 Coachella headliner caught practicing in a furniture store.
All right,
stay.
I'm totally in on this one. Stay.
Justin Bieber was seen jamming out in a furniture store in downtown Los Angeles. So, employees of the store said he came to look at furniture, saw that they had a couple of instruments set up. He basically played for 40 minutes straight to the employees, and we're not sure if he bought anything. He will be headlining Coachella. Coachella starts on April 10th.
Wow.
The only problem with this segment is every headline I want to hear about.
Yeah.
So, we got time for one quick one,
One
Frank.
more. One quick.
One quick one. All right, we'll do this one. Media merger could be in trouble.
I'm going to swipe. I know
swipe.
that story.
Popular musician denies breakup rumors.
Ooh, stay.
Stay.
Pink has had to come out and deny rumors that her and her husband of 20 years have broken up. I'm going to leave it at that. But she did come out and have a fiery statement. Go look it
Huge
up.
social media post
It's
on this
really
last night.
funny. I don't have time because Parker's giving me the rap signal.
He
That
is.
was Swiper Say. Thank you for indulging me on the Pokemon story.
Well, it was a good story. We'll
a good
indulge
one.
anytime. I'm glad that we stayed. 7:29 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. We'll talk about the future of Knowles Nelson after this on the Civic Media Network.
Okay, dokie. Fun stuff, Frank.
That was good
Pokemon
today.
Nicely
go
done.
to the polls. God, I love it.
I love when politicians, when they try to be hip, and they've never
Yeah.
said these things before.
Right.
Like
And
you
that
can be
wasn't.
old and still make references, but if you've never said the words before, they ring very
Right.
hollow.
And her speechwriter was like, "Oh, I'm working this one in."
Hi, Charles.
Good morning,
Good.
Charles.
Hey, folks. Good morning. Nice to be with you.
Do you go by Charles or Charlie? Because I saw on your StreamYard thing you put Charlie.
I know. I like to keep it confusing. I generally go by Charlie.
Oh,
Charlie it is.
Okay.
Charlie.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm gonna dip back out, and you guys can do your thing.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
I have lost all place in my rundown here. We have about 4 minutes or so, so we will
Okay.
just hang out here for a few minutes.
Excuse me.
And Charlie, just so you know, when we've got a 14-minute segment here.
Great.
When we get down to the last couple of minutes, I'll give you a hand signals for how many minutes we got left. And when you start to hear music come up during that time, that means we got about 30 seconds left, so we got to wrap it up.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to assume that you've been talking a lot about this over the last few weeks with the current legislation or lack thereof.
We definitely have. It's and we very much appreciate how folks are really paying attention to the issue right now.
What's an important issue for this state? And
Yes.
it's one that really shouldn't have this much debate surrounding it. I mean, this is a long-standing program. I don't understand the debate that's happening right now.
That's correct. I mean, it's a long-standing program. It's wildly popular. It's one of these things that probably should be an easy slam dunk. And, unfortunately, I think the story is really just internal Capitol politics. There's a handful of Republican legislators that are really upset about democratic process, and they're throwing the stewardship program under the bus for it.
Wow.
I don't know why the Republicans suddenly have become the party that doesn't want to practice democracy or follow the Constitution. That seemed to be their thing before.
Yeah.
There's been a weird turn of events over the last it's been happening for quite some time, but it feels like it's been a sharp pivot, at least within the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's really accelerated, and it's striking, I guess, how, Wisconsin politics have sort of followed that attitude. I just don't think our legislators can actually get away with it in the same way that Trump can. I think there's going to be more immediate consequences.
Yeah. People are paying attention.
I've been hearing that from, a lot of my job is to get out and talk to candidates as well. And they talk about just being so impressed with how much people are paying attention, how much they understand the details just in a way that they haven't seen before.
I appreciate that, though, because I think for such a long time, when politics were normal, putting that in air quotes, normal, whatever it is, but when it was obviously just a backdrop to life versus what it is now, I think we were freer to just go about thinking people were just handling things and doing their job and this is why we elected you, so now go do it.
Right.
And now we have so much more that goes into that I think people are paying more attention to what's actually happening on multiple levels, which is good. I mean, if nothing else, maybe this makes us more informed and less able to check out. I'm sure it will ebb and flow over the years.
We've been forced to become more aware and more involved.
We have. I think there are a lot of folks that wish they could go back to just caring about high school sports, but maybe we'll get there.
I'd like a day where I didn't have to think about it. I don't mind focusing on it a lot, but it's maybe a day where nothing crazy happened would be nice. Just go,
all right.
All right.
We've got a little less than 15 seconds until we're back.
Great.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Civic Media Network. You are listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and if you love going outside, this is bad news. Funding for Wisconsin's wildly popular land conservation program has hit another snag, this time in the state Senate. For the first time in more than 3 decades, the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program was not included in the state budget signed last July. What does that mean for the future of the program? Charlie Carlin joins us. He is the Director of Strategic Initiatives at Gathering Waters, Wisconsin's Alliance for Land Trusts. Charlie, thanks for being here this morning. Just really quickly, for people who don't know the whole history or not, they know what Knowles-Nelson is, they think. Can you give us a brief timeline, a brief history of Knowles-Nelson?
Yeah, so the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program, it's Wisconsin's flagship environmental conservation program. That means if there's a place you go outside in Wisconsin, chances are Knowles-Nelson made it happen. It provides funds to buy state parkland, forest land, conservation areas, local parks, and then it builds all the stuff that you need to get outside and enjoy Wisconsin. Boat launches, campgrounds, bike paths, things like that. And Knowles-Nelson has been doing this for 35 years. It's a wildly popular program and has been tremendously successful.
So, Charlie, the Senate actually pulled its reauthorization proposal from the floor, right? And so can you walk us through what exactly happened and what does this, at this current moment in time, mean for the future of the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program?
So simply put, what happened last week was just refusal by Republican leaders in the legislature to negotiate across the aisle and work with their Democratic counterparts. So we've known all along that the Republican Senate caucus, there's a very tight majority. There are 18 Republicans, 15 Democrats. Those 18 Republicans do not agree with each other. So they almost always need Democratic votes in order to move something forward. Every single Democratic legislator is a co-sponsor of their proposal to reauthorize the stewardship program. And Democratic leaders signaled over and over again that they are willing to compromise and to meet in the middle with Republicans. However, what happened was Republican legislators continued to push forward a reauthorization proposal that would gut the stewardship program, essentially kill off the land acquisition part of it, so we couldn't go add on to Devil's Lake State Park, for example. And what that meant is Democratic legislators weren't going to vote for it. Republicans didn't have the votes to do it on their own, and so rather than face that defeat publicly, they just pulled the bill and did nothing.
Once again, we're seeing everything, like you said, Charlie, along party lines. What is the rationale that the Republicans who are against this program or against this funding, what are they putting forth as their justification for this? Is it just money? What is it?
So that's a great question. And I think it bears keeping in mind that for Wisconsin voters, there's no controversy here. This program polls at 93% support.
Wow.
There are not 90% of Wisconsinites that agree on anything. So this is remarkable support. What Republican legislators say about why they oppose the stewardship program, it's just capital politics. So in 2024, the Wisconsin Supreme Court said that legislators could no longer block Knowles-Nelson projects with this crazy process whereby a single anonymous legislator, for any reason or no reason at all, could block any Knowles-Nelson project valued at more than $250,000. That's almost all of them. And there would be no process to hold a hearing, to have a vote, or for us in the public to even understand what the heck had happened. So the Supreme Court, led by very conservative Justice Rebecca Bradley, stepped in and said, folks, that is not democracy. This is wildly unconstitutional. They put a stop to that process. And what Republican leaders are saying out loud in public hearings is, we're going to kill the stewardship program because we're upset about losing that court case.
We're talking with Charlie Carlin. He is the Director of Strategic Initiatives of Gathering Waters for Land Trust, also part of Team Knowles Nelson as we talk about the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program. And the current authorization expires in June of 2026, so just a few weeks if you really look at a calendar. So, Charlie, if lawmakers decide not to act before then, what essentially happens to the stewardship program?
What we're left with is a gap in funding. And that means that come July 1st, we don't have any money to expand our state parks. Knowles Nelson is also the key funding source to maintain our parks. So if you see a broken water fountain, a toilet that doesn't work, a big old crack in the path that you're trying to walk down, there's no money to fill that in. This is also what our local parks departments use to put in bike paths, to put in playground equipment for our kids, and to build out trail networks across the state. So all of that work comes to a grinding halt, at least for a year. The next opportunity we would have is when we come back to do the state budget in 2027.
Charlie, you mentioned before that a lot of this was about land acquisition and funding. There were two separate bills in the Senate and one that was passed in the Assembly last month. Can you break down what was in each one? What made one bill different than the other? What are we actually talking about?
Sure. So the reauthorization debate, it started about this time last year when Governor Evers released his executive budget. And what the governor said was, Knowles Nelson has been really popular. The need is more important than ever, so let's expand the program. And he proposed funding it at $100 million a year for 10 years. And that got refused by Republican leaders in the budget, so nothing was done in the state budget. The bill that passed the Assembly a few weeks ago, it should be noted that also passed on party lines. That was a fraction of what the governor had proposed. I think it was about $28 million. It included essentially no money for land acquisition, and it included new restrictions on where land could be acquired, how the money could be spent. Then the bill that came over to the Senate, there wasn't going to be support for that bill in the Senate. They added in a small amount of money for land acquisition. They were going to let land trusts and other nonprofits access $2.5 million a year. That's like one or two projects. But then what they did is they put a ban on acquiring new public land in places where, in any municipality where there's at least 35% public land. And the rationale is you can't have too much public land in one place, there has to be a mix. But of course, that's not how ecology works.
Right.
If you are a deer herd, you can't go through a patch of forest and then across a Target parking lot.
Yeah.
So that continuity is really important.
Now, I think it's interesting when you talk about the bill that the Republicans put forth, because they actually say that the bill on the table was a compromise within their caucus, and Governor Evers is saying that bill would need critical changes before he would sign anything into law. So what changes would need to be made in this particular bill that the Republicans are putting forth?
So the governor has been really clear, and the path forward is actually very simple. What the governor has said is he would be happy to sign any reauthorization proposal that adequately funds land acquisition and habitat management. What Democratic leaders have said is remove the policy poison pills. We're not interested in bans on the stewardship program in certain parts of the state. It's a statewide program. Let's let it work statewide, and then put money back in for land acquisition. Everybody recognizes we're not going to get close to the governor's proposal or even the Democrats' proposal. They had proposed funding the program for 6 years at about $70 million a year. All of those folks are willing to make deep cuts and deep compromises. For example, Last week on the floor of the Senate, Democratic Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin, she proposed just extending the program as is for 1 year. And what she said is, folks, we're not going to agree here, but none of us actually want to see this program fail. So let's just extend it for a year. We'll come back next session and we'll keep arguing about a long-term solution. That idea was shut down without any debate. So put some money in for land acquisition, get rid of the poison pills, and we keep the stewardship program moving forward.
Charlie Carlin's our guest. He's Director of Strategic Initiatives at Gathering Waters, Wisconsin's Alliance for Land Trust. GatheringWaters.org is the website where you can get all the information about this. Charlie, the Senate is supposed to come back maybe one more time before they go home too, like the Assembly did. From the people you're talking to, is there any chance that in that last session something could happen?
Absolutely. All of these calendar deadlines are completely arbitrary. So today is February 27th. The Assembly has said that they are done for the year. Yesterday, I went to my boss and I said, it's February 26th. I think I'd like to take the rest of the year off. And he said, sure, but you're not going to get paid. So I think it's perfectly reasonable for us to say, hey, legislators, get back to work. And right. Speaker Voss has actually said, well, hey, if you're interested in cutting taxes again, we would be happy to get back to work. So all that being said, yes, the Senate is scheduled to come back on March 19th. If they were to pass a workable stewardship program and send it back over to the Assembly, I am confident that there would be a lot of political pressure for those folks to come back to work. There are also these last-minute compromises being hammered out. For example, this conversation about, can we further cut property taxes? Can we cut schools? An extension of the stewardship program could absolutely be a part of that compromise.
Can you explain to us, too, because one of the things about the Knowles Nelson stewardship is, as you mentioned, some of the money, where some of this money goes to basically maintaining and for people who work in these state parks. But one of the things that I think gets overlooked is the amount of money that Knowles Nelson it ties into Wisconsin's outdoor recreation economy as well as the local communities. So by losing something like Knowles Nelson, how is that going to affect the economies of some of these areas where you have some of these parks that are being supported by Knowles Nelson right now?
Right. So the outdoor recreation economy, it's one of the fastest growing parts of Wisconsin's economy. Last year, more than $5 billion in wages were paid out for people working in the outdoor recreation economy. And we have a lot of work to do. We have really beautiful places and we have great assets in Wisconsin, but take the Ice Age Trail, for example. More than 500 miles of that trail has yet to be completed. That means if you want to walk across Wisconsin, you spend a lot of your time on paved county roads. We can go in and we can acquire that other 500 miles of trail so that we can walk through the woods all the way across Wisconsin. And that same idea, that extends to bicycle path networks, to snowmobile trails in the North Woods, to our campgrounds that are more popular than ever. So all of that work, if we stall it, that means that our economy takes a step backwards as well. And I think it's important to note that this is a small investment with a really big return. Right now, the stewardship program, it costs each of us $11 a year. Like you can barely eat at Culver's for $11, and we get all of these amazing assets in return. So I think that's a just really important piece to keep in mind.
Well, Charlie, we appreciate it. Charlie Carlin is the Director of Strategic Initiatives at Gathering Waters. They are the Alliance for Land Trust. Go to gatheringwaters.org. And listen, 93% of Wisconsinites are for this, so get a hold of your legislator and tell them, get back to work, pass this, let's fund this program. Charlie, thanks for being here this morning. We really appreciate it.
Folks, appreciate the opportunity to chat with you.
Have a good day. KnowlesNelson.org, too, if you want to find out more about the stewardship program. It is 7:48 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And the Packers have a dire warning for you season ticket holders. We'll talk about that after this on the Civic Media Network. Thank you, Charlie. That was great.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much. Appreciate
it.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Always happy to come back and chat.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Have
Thank
a great
you.
weekend.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Why do the Republicans in this state or Republicans in general have to complicate things so much? Like,
Those are
I just don't get it.
Sometimes stuff happens during the secret show, and I'm like, should I pull that for a promo?
No. Yeah.
You pull it.
All right, because they're jerks.
I
There you
don't.
go. Now you can cut it.
Yeah.
Seriously, 93% of the state's population agrees that Knowles Nelson is important.
93% is a number I
crazy.
cannot fathom. Well, first of all, who's the 7% that go outdoor space?
Well, because those are the people who talk about the money involved and all of it. Because there's those people, or
Right, but
or
when you
they're
put it-
uneducated and they don't know what it is or what it does.
Are you calling them stupid?
There's that.
Don't call them stupid. Just allude
not-
to the fact
I'm
that they're
s-
stupid.
I
Just
am
never
saying
say it.
I am saying uninformed.
Oh, you said uneducated.
Well, uneducated too. Uninformed.
Doesn't necessarily
Reading
mean
is
it.
hard. But when you put it in the context that Charlie did of it's $11 a day, and that is a value meal at Culver's or a
Yes.
Happy Meal at McDonald's.
Some
yes.
people spend more than that going to get their favorite coffee and their favorite bakery item, right? Like a coffee and a muffin is more
Yeah.
than that if you're going to like one of those little coffee shops.
I'm not bougie like you, Jamie. I make my coffee at home and I chew on the inside of my cheek for nourishment.
I don't understand why these things have to be like Jody Sitikin, Havish Sitikin saying, let's just extend it for a year. No, we're not going to.
How can you claim to represent the people when
93%
unless you just represent that 7%? Then okay, I give you the right to vote against it. But if you're really a representative of the people and really serving your constituents, this should be a no-brainer. This comes up and you just automatically, boom, rubber stamp it. Good,
This is one
yes,
of those
good,
programs that makes you, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, and if you're thinking about your reelection chances and staying in good terms and good, graces with your constituents, you just vote for this. You compromise, you vote for this because there's no wrong answer here, right? Like the only wrong answer is saying, no, we're just not going to do anything with it, period. That's the wrong answer. Anything else is good for the state and for the economy.
There is so much natural beauty in this state, and that's why people come to Wisconsin from all over. Because how many people go up to Door County or the North Woods or anywhere, even Lake Geneva, statewide. There's places that people want to go.
I'll be honest. I grew up in South Dakota, so the first time I saw like a
15
grove of trees is when I came to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All right, 10 seconds here.
Yeah, South Dakota is South Dakota.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
7:52 right now. If you're listening in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS or in Wausau on WXCO, thank you so much for joining us today on the Civic Media Network. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and I know this is bad radio form, but what was that song, Parker, underneath there?
That is Go You Packers Go by the Wizardhelmers.
Oh, love it.
Wow.
Yes, it's very good.
Big fan.
Well,
I really
you're
dug
a
it.
Bears, You're a Bears fan.
No,
so
I didn't know the song, but I was going to compliment it. I was like, I really loved it, and I heard something about Wisconsin. I was like, I like this song very much.
Does the compliment stay the same now that you know it's about the Packers?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
What I heard in that bump was still
Measured
good.
fans here. Measured fans here.
Well, no, I'm still very happy about this news because the Packers aren't playing. If you're a season ticket holder, you may not get your tickets renewed for 2026 if you're one of these fans that you know who you are. You buy your season tickets and you sell all the games. And I know people like that who do it for the Bears. And it's like, I know you want to stay on the list. I know the tickets have been in your family for generations.
Yeah.
But go to the games. According to the Packers. I don't have a dog in this fight. You don't want to go to the games. You want to sell the tickets. That's on you. But the Packers, they don't like it.
Well, really, this is, according to Packers officials, about protecting that Lambeau Field home field advantage, right? Arguing that the season tickets are meant for fans who plan to attend those games, not for the ones who just want the resale value of them, because we all know how hard Packers tickets are. They're hard to come by sometimes, right? And because tickets are digital, the team can track when they are sold or transferred and also identify patterns of frequent resale. So in recent years, the Packers say reclaimed tickets have allowed about 1,000 people to come off the long waiting list, which includes roughly 155,000 names. The team has about 38,000 season ticket accounts, and about 99% renew each year, meaning it can take decades to get tickets. There are people who have been on the waiting list. They literally, in my husband's family, we used to have season tickets. Grandma didn't think we were using them, so she sold off our season
Grandma.
Grandma.
And that's why Grandma's not around anymore. You know what I'm saying?
It was hard to be mad at Graham because you loved her, but we were all like, no, we've been divvying them up for years. What are you doing, Graham?
That's easy. Sometimes, I love grandmas, but sometimes it's easy to be mad at the grandmas.
It
would be one time.
We were all a little miffed at Graham. But some fans who lost their seats say that they had special circumstances, including military service, health issues, or family traditions dating back for generations. And they argue that they were not given clear warnings. Now, the Packers are saying that tickets can be revoked or just not renewed at any time under the season ticket agreement, and that there is an appeal process. Obviously, any team of the NFL, including the Packers, wants a home field to be actual home field where you are surrounded primarily by your team's fans, not visiting fans buying up resale tickets, which is what happens a lot for multiple games for the Green Bay Packers. It's those gold season ticket holders. That's right. We'll call them out by group and name.
It is.
It is. Now. It's actually the gold season ticket holders because they like to sell their tickets to Bears fans and also Lions fans.
Yes, so many Lions fans.
Listen, it brings our money spends just as good in Green Bay as anybody else's money. And I want to go to the Backgammon Lounge and have a garlic stuffed tenderloin. I'm not going to kid you.
Well, there's some good food options there at Lambeau Field. Here's the thing that I will say. Going to Lambeau Field, if you've never been, is an experience in itself. And you definitely need to get there if you're a football fan and you appreciate it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Packers fan. Even before I started watching football, I thought it was an experience. Get some seats with backs. That is my one big gripe at Lambeau Field. Those bleachers are so uncomfortable and they are so cold in December and January. It is rough sitting out there, and that's when the Packers adopt multiple colors because it takes your bright orange and your camouflage just to sit out there on those cold bleachers. But
that makes sense. But
yeah,
you still got to go to the games.
Yeah, you do still have to go to the game.
Are you for that? Are you a proponent of taking away tickets then?
I think so.
You and Parker could both, because Parker's a fan as well.
I think so. My take on it, Parker, would be that I am, because there are 150,000 people currently on the Packers waiting list to get season tickets.
Yeah, I was going to say that if you're giving the tickets to other Packer fans, it's fine. But there is also exactly that you're saying, that there are decades worth of fans who want those season tickets. And if you're not using them and you have to give them to other people, like, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, and I get this isn't just a Packers thing. I think all teams end up going through this at some point with their fan base saying, we would really like you to use your season tickets and come to the game. Please don't sell them too. And so this isn't anything new for the Packers. The Packers happen to get, I think, a little bit more press with it being the smallest franchise in the league in the smallest city. And because Lambeau is considered to be such an anomaly as far as how it's set up in the middle of town, where you're literally parking in people's front yards. They close off the highway so that you can cross to get to the game. I think it becomes a little bit more dominant in these types of conversations when a lot of Green Bay's economy is also based on the Green Bay Packers and, their season. So I think it becomes a little bit of a longer discussion for them.
Well, no matter what they do, the games are going to sell out. The seats will be full until, like my friends who had Bears tickets, and sell a lot of those, it was the years where the teams just were awful. And it's not worth sitting out in sub-zero temperatures for a team that is awful. And, but Green Bay fans are different. You will sit out in that horrendous
even when the team
weather.
Sucks.
Even when the team sucks. So,
Wait, it's long and cold winters up here, and that is what gives us life. Apparently, either that or we're really sick individuals. I haven't figured out which one it is.
I thrive in the snow.
Wow. Yeah, you seem very outdoorsy. You have a Nanook of the North vibe that comes off you every time I look at you.
Are you an outdoorsy person?
I enjoy the sun.
I enjoy the sun. Okay, well, listen.
Well, he's not a vampire. That's good. We cleared that up today.
All right. Wow. Okay. Well, good.
Well, season ticket holders, get your butts to Lambeau. That's the moral of the story, right?
That's the moral of that story. We got our third hour.
Yes, 7:59. If you're listening on MDX, you're going to go to Stephanie Miller. Everybody else in the network will stay with us on the Civic Media Network.
All right. We clear. Yes, Brian, not a vampire.
Well, just the way you said it. I like the sun.
I like the sun. Right? Yes, I bask in the sun.
Okay. That's it.
All right. While we wait for Amy, I am going to run to the restroom.
Bye-bye.
Hour 3 coming up.
Hour 3. We're big time.
Hour 3. We are big time.
3 hours is...
3 hours is a real show.
Yes, we will do that. 3 hours is a real show. I gotta say, why is that door open?
Who's here? Why does he have a gun?
I don't
What?
know.
No.
Is he hiding behind the boxes? The first show that I worked on here was 3 hours. So then when it got pulled down to 2 hours for this, or whenever I would like guest produce for something else,
Yeah.
and it was only 2 hours, I was like, what the heck? This is so fast.
2 hours is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Truly nothing.
Nothing. Even this show, I mean, even just this past week for 3 hours, it feels like it's nothing.
It does still, even at 3, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun. Here on Daybreak.
3 hours with a co-host is easy. 3 hour. Once you get into 3 hours or more by yourself, unless you're just somebody who's reading prepared statements, basically, or taking a lot of calls.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good morning, Amy.
Morning, Amy.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Great.
You sound great. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
We're just waiting on Jamie. I think she wants to fill up some water or something. Then we're going to get started here in 5 minutes, Parker. 4 minutes?
Almost 4 minutes till we're started here. Yeah.
And Amy, how do you pronounce your last name?
Oh, good question. Barrio.
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 Okay.
Yeah, just Barry with an O on the end.
Got it.
Perfect.
Oh, and Amy, just so you know, we got a 14-minute segment here. When we get down to the last couple minutes, I'll give you 3 minutes, 2 minute, 1 minute signals.
Okay.
And when you start to hear music coming up, that means we just got a couple of seconds left, so we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
We got Jamie back here.
There we go.
Get you guys back on the right sides.
Please, yeah, I can't.
I
I get
know.
all thrown off. I don't know why it becomes such a thing, but it's like
I
this is
know.
how we've always had it laid out. We have to have it laid out again.
I kind of wish that we could redo it, but I don't want to like break our brains now.
Well, let's start a week with the new. We could start a week with the new.
Okay.
How do you
on
want to mix it
Monday.
up?
I
You in
just
the
want to
center?
put her. No, I want. Yeah, me in the center. I'm the center of attention. Jamie on the other side, just so that we don't have the logo on the TV and right next to her.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
'cause-
That's how
yeah.
I'm thinking.
Oh
From a
yeah,
visual
because then you
standpoint.
cover a part
Yeah.
of the closet.
Yeah.
You can do it now. Go ahead.
Are you sure? I think it's
Yeah,
gonna break
Amy's
your brain a
interview
little.
will suffer, Parker, but that's up to you. You know, Amy just took time out of her day to come in and be with us, and now we're gonna,
I just love that a simple switch of the screen is what throws us so off that we're like,
It
oh
is.
wait, what
I
do we
don't even know
do
what
here?
show this is. I don't know what my name is. What day is this? What kind of lawsuit are we talking about? This is all. Everything's out the window. We're going to apologize in advance, Amy.
Yes.
And then blame Parker. So when you get an email from Frank, just go, I'm sorry, I tried.
I can't. I tried with that Parker kid. It's over.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oops, that's the wrong mouse.
And Amy told us her last name is pronounced Barrio.
Yep.
Right. Thank you for asking.
You always want to get a person's name right.
Yeah. I have a hard name too, so I appreciate that.
I figured it ended with an O sound because of the EAU-X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was
It's
like,
a
okay.
Cajun.
Yes.
Cajun name.
Yeah.
Got about a minute.
Okay.
All right, we got 15 seconds here.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. You are listening to Daybreak. And hey, Brian, we have some fancy new social media sites that we would like people to go check out over on Instagram and over on Facebook. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. That's what you should be. There's some like underscores and things like that, but just do a search.
Yeah, good luck. Let's not get into that. We got to turn to a new lawsuit. There seems every day there's a new lawsuit against the Trump administration. A coalition of health and environmental groups, including some from Wisconsin, sued the EPA Wednesday, challenging the rescinding of a scientific finding that has been the central basis for U.S. actions to regulate greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change. To give us some background on that, Amy Barrio joins us. She's communications director for Clean Wisconsin. She's host of the Defender Project, and she's working on Clean Wisconsin's lawsuit against the EPA. Amy, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So let's get to the nuts and bolts of the lawsuit. What are the claims in this lawsuit?
I mean, it's pretty clear that the EPA has no scientific or legal basis to rescind the endangerment finding. So basically, the endangerment finding came out of a 2007 Supreme Court decision, U.S. Supreme Court, Massachusetts versus EPA. And that finding basically said that the EPA, your mission in federal statute is to protect public health. And under the Clean Air Act, if greenhouse gases are a danger to public health, then you have a responsibility to set regulations and enforce those regulations to protect people. And so they gave the EPA the marching orders, okay, go do some scientific studies and figure out, do these greenhouse gases harm public health? And that is what the 2009 endangerment finding is. It is that scientific analysis and finding that, yes, greenhouse gases hurt public health. So this has all been litigated, it's all been decided, it's all been researched. And in fact, you know, if you think back on what we've experienced here in Wisconsin since 2009, you can see that there's just more and more and more evidence that these greenhouse gases are hurting us. You know, we've seen an explosion in tick-borne illnesses. I think a quadrupled number of Lyme disease cases over the past 20 years. We've seen threefold increase in severe storms that caused more than $1 billion in damage here in Wisconsin since 1980. And we've all experienced that toxic wildfire smoke that we've had the past few summers. In some cases, Wisconsin has had the worst air quality in the country and in the world in some moments during our past summers. So this kind of notion that, oh, never mind, these greenhouse gases are just fine and they're not harming us, I think we all know that that's just not true.
So, Amy, the Trump administration is actually arguing right now that the endangerment finding is leading to costly regulations that are hurting businesses and consumers. How does Clean Wisconsin respond to those claims?
I think it's frustrating because that's always the line that you get when you hear about an environmental regulation and the forces that are pushing back against it. Like, well, this is going to cost us too much money. But what we see here in Wisconsin and all across the country is there are health costs associated with pollution. Certainly, I just mentioned storms at $1 billion a piece. We know that we're paying costs every day, health costs, cleanup costs, tick prevention costs. But this is a lazy way to frame the issue, to say, well, wow, that coal plant might have to put some pollution controls on it, and that might cost the, coal plant, powers that be money, so we just shouldn't do it, ignores all of the impacts that come from people being exposed to that pollution.
Amy Barrio's our guest. She's communications director for Clean Wisconsin. She also hosts the Defender podcast, and she is helping Clean Wisconsin in the lawsuit against the Trump EPA. Amy, who are the other plaintiffs in this case, and how did this lawsuit come together?
Oh, it's a long list of plaintiffs. I'm just going to pull it up because we're joining like a coalition of groups. We're the only one in Wisconsin, but it's, the American Public Health Association, the American Lung Association, Alliance of Nurses for a Healthy Environment. So you can see that these are public health groups because there is wide acknowledgement that this is a public health issue. Plus, a number of environmental groups, the Clean Air Council, Friends of the Earth, Physicians for Social Responsibility. So this is I think if we acknowledge that it's a wide variety of groups, we can really see what the harms are of rolling this back. The EPA had signaled that it was coming, so we were ready. Just a couple of days after the repeal, we filed suit. And I imagine that other groups will file suit as well. Groups have 30 days from the publication of that rule to announce legal action and to file. And so we're still in that 30-day period. So, but again, I think what we have to realize is the EPA's mission is to protect public health. That is what is set forth in federal statute. That is why it exists as an agency. It's not, as the new EPA administrator might say, to make the United States the leader in AI. That has nothing to do with the EPA's mission. Its mission is not to prop up coal, oil, and gas industries. That's not the mission. The mission is to protect public health, no matter what the Trump administration says or the EPA administrator says about, unleashing the power of American business. If you look at what the EPA is supposed to do, there is no legal basis for it to take the action it's taken.
The administration has called this one of the largest regulatory actions in U.S. history. And obviously groups like Clean Wisconsin call it the biggest attack on federal climate authority. You've mentioned some of the increases that we've seen and some of the impacts we've already started to see even under the endangerment finding. But what if we lose these regulations completely, Amy, what does that look like for a state like Wisconsin?
Well, we have to keep in mind that this is the EPA's main tool for doing something about climate change. And I think that's important to understand. If you take that away, then what are we doing? This is the biggest public health crisis that we have ever faced. And to take away the tool for the government to react to that and to start taking steps to control that and to prevent harm, then that's a really extremely concerning thing. And this, is part of a big picture of rollbacks and really failing to protect public health on a number of levels. So if you're worried about PFAS forever chemicals. Well, those standards that got passed by the EPA a few years ago are now in the process of being repealed. If you're worried about mercury coming from power plants or getting into the fish you eat, well, the Trump administration is getting ready to roll back the mercury and air toxic standards that were tightened just a few years ago. So if you're worried about any of these things that you're exposed to, pesticides, that's been in the news lately, that a new pesticide has been allowed to come, or not new, but a concerning pesticide has been allowed to come on the market. There's a whole host of this kind of action that's been happening. It's a list that's almost too long for me to name. I'd have to go, spend several days putting it together. But we are really seeing this happen on all fronts. And I think, we realized that when the EPA administrator Lee Zeldin came out as soon as he was confirmed and said, okay, the EPA, this is what we got to do. We got to, unleash the power of business and the auto industry in the United States, and we have to make the United States the capital of AI. And that is so far from what the EPA is supposed to do. Nobody wants more mercury in their air. Nobody wants more greenhouse gases. Nobody wants more storms and toxic smoke. Not one person. There's nobody who's saying, please give me more pollution. And I think we all have to understand that that's what we're getting.
Amy, I want to go back to something you said at the beginning of our conversation in case somebody's just joining us. And forgive me if we're rehashing a little bit, but you mentioned this has all been adjudicated before. All of this has been investigated, researched, ruled on by the courts. What possible footing can the Trump administration have to fight this lawsuit?
Yeah, so I mentioned that 2007 Supreme Court decision. So that was the law of the land. Yeah, should be it. And then the EPA doing its due diligence, putting together a real thorough scientific finding, the endangerment finding, that yes, greenhouse gases are a danger to us, to people. So there is certainly no scientific basis, no legal basis for any of this to be happening. But I don't think that is what the concern is of the Trump administration. I think it's let's go ahead and get rid of all this stuff and then see how far we can take it. And we've seen that in a number of ways from the Trump administration. So, in our minds, this case should not move forward. If anybody takes a look at it on its face, we feel like that they certainly should rule that the endangerment finding will need to stand.
We're talking with Amy Berrio. She's the communications director for Clean Wisconsin. She also hosts the Defender podcast. She's part of helping with this lawsuit against the Trump EPA. Cleanwisconsin.org to check out some of the work that they're doing over there. If we take a look at this on mostly an everyday scale, too, of what this can mean, we're talking basically eliminating standards for cars and trucks. We've seen a lot of progress in electric vehicles in this country. Mm-hmm. What could it mean for on those practical standards of cars, trucks? We look at power plants, the gas, oil companies, data centers moving into Wisconsin. How does all of that play with this rollback of these regulations?
Yeah, so if you want to talk about your everyday experiences, well, first of all, most car and truck makers in this moment have implemented these standards already. Again, this is not new stuff. But what you'll see is now, particularly new power plants that are being constructed and maybe new cars that come on the market don't have to worry about meeting these kinds of emission standards. And that's should be really concerning because, for example, with cars and trucks, some of these greenhouse gases that are emitted come with other types of pollutants or themselves can mix with other types of pollutants and cause ground level ozone, for example. And southeastern Wisconsin is already in non-attainment for ozone in this part of the state for federal ozone regulations. So that means, ground level ozone, I know if you've got asthma, you're really aware of what that means for your health. There will be days when you can't go outside if we're in a bad ozone level, especially in the hot days of the summer. So there will be an immediate impact on public health as some of these protections start falling away. Again, there's just, as I say this all the time, I feel like nobody's saying, please give me more car exhaust. Please give me more of that pollution. Let me have more days when I can't go outside in the summer in Wisconsin. But that's what you're going to see. And again, I think there's a recognition that technology is moving past this moment. Burning coal is not something anybody wants to do anymore. Having cars and trucks that are making it terrible to go outside is not something people want anymore. So this isn't responding to what people are asking for. It's really responding to what coal, oil, and gas companies are asking for.
Yeah, if you're old enough like me to remember before all the emissions regulations went in on cars and trucks, it wasn't pleasant. Amy Barrio is the communications director for Clean Wisconsin. She hosts the Defender podcast, and she's working with Clean Wisconsin on the lawsuit against the EPA. CleanWisconsin.org is the website. Amy, thank you for being here this morning. Have a wonderful weekend. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's 8:19 right now. Coming up, we've got a little follow-up to a story we did yesterday. I'm very excited about this. Maybe involves one of your favorite burger places right here on the Civic Media Network.
All right, we're clear.
I'm sorry. I
Thank
wasn't
you,
paying
Amy.
attention to my time.
You're
Thank
good.
you,
Thank
Amy.
you.
Thanks, Amy. Have a great weekend.
Hey, Amy.
You too. Bye.
Have a good weekend. That was
Amy,
me. I was
Jamie
thinking I
went
had it.
over.
I know. I
You're
was,
good. You
Just
happened
kept
to,
talking.
like, you were in a break in your sentence, so it actually probably sounded
Okay.
like moderately okay.
I don't know why I was thinking I had more time. I was watching the clock, too. I'm sorry.
You're good.
That's it.
I'm fired.
Get the talk manager on the phone.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh, God.
This story from Pete Hegseth is
Hey,
insane.
Hitler Youth, what's happening? Good to see you. Glad you're coming along.
Well,
And we
have a-
we did the interview on the wrong sides or the new sides.
we did okay.
So that's
Wrong.
good.
Except I screwed up the out. So
Well, the out is the out. Whatever. There'll be plenty of outs before the big one.
well, at least we have a block for 1A on Monday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
This is
Wow, it's right.
insanity.
You guys should all have the 5 rundowns for next week, by the way.
Okay.
I shared them last night.
Keyword should.
Just
Well,
if not, tell me, and I'll
we'll keep this as 1A, I think, on Monday, don't you think?
sure.
Unless we want to talk about it quickly here, but this is a short block.
Let's
And we've got an
see
interview
how
in
it
our long
shakes
block.
out.
Yeah. Okay. Bill Clinton is officially in his deposition. Tony. Yes, big scouting. Eye on the prize, Pete.
You know it.
Eye on the prize.
All right, check if you have Mondays.
I see him coming through right now.
All right,
Yes.
good. Okay.
Yep, there we go.
Well, see, the thing that says share with the same people is not obviously sharing with the same people.
Maybe
So
it doesn't. It just doesn't notify us, so we can't find them as easily.
Oh, maybe. All right. Well,
That's probably what it is.
You'll get all of them momentarily. Okay. You should have
Awesome.
Monday
We got
and
10
Tuesday
seconds
now.
here.
Want to join in on the conversation? Call or text 855-75-CIVIC. Now back to Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us. And hey, happy Friday. We officially made it to the end of a work
Yeehaw.
week. It's always good to say that, isn't it, in this day and age?
It really is. And you look ahead and you go, all right, maybe over the weekend we can take a little break from some of the craziness. We won't. We'll still be on it. So when we talk again on Monday morning,
They'll be more crazy.
we'll be knee deep in the hoopla, as the kids used to say. I don't know what kid said that, but
The
some
kids said
kid.
that? What?
What song? Starship said that. They were knee deep in the hoopla. Used to be Jefferson Airplane, then they were
Airplane.
Jefferson Starship, then they were
Starship.
just Starship.
Starship.
Starship actually was knee deep in the hoopla.
Yeah.
And there's your abstract musical reference for the day. You're welcome. Send all your cards and letters to Jamie.
We
I'm learning.
we need those once in a while. But don't send your cards and letters to me. I get enough of those things. Kidding. I'll always take your mail.
Will
unless
you?
it's got to be nice mail. I've gotten my
right.
fair share of not so nice mail over the last few days.
Hey, you got a voicemail yesterday, or we got a voicemail yesterday. If you were with
exciting.
us yesterday, it is exciting. Yesterday, we were telling you that Burger King had decided to give out their CEO's phone number so you could call and leave him a message and either compliment or complain or have suggestions. And allegedly, they would get back to you. And we were skeptical. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
So on the air, we called, and Jamie and I left a nice message.
Yes,
and Jamie, all of a sudden, we get the show gets a message from you in the afternoon.
Yes. So our lovely executive assistant here at Civic Media, Megan, she sends me a message while I was sitting at home working, and she says, "Hey, you got a message from a guy named Tom at Burger King?" And she attaches the message. And so Tom Curtis is the CEO of Burger King, and we left him a very nice voicemail explaining who we are, what we were doing, and he actually responded. And we have that voicemail that we want to play for you right now. So this is cut 5.
Hey, it's Tom, the president of Burger King, just calling back Jamie and Brian, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.
No, he didn't address some of our concerns.
Oh, my tortilla concern was left unaddressed. If you missed it,
It was.
I first of all, I complimented the Whopper, which we have a follow-up story on that as well.
Yes.
But the Royal Wraps, the Crunch Wraps, I said the tortilla is too big for the amount of chicken in there. And I understand it's a low-priced item, you're not going to put a ton of chicken, but then make the wrap a little smaller so it seems more bountiful.
Yes, that makes total sense.
Right.
And I'll go way back to the days of longing for the chicken Whopper. I'm probably never getting my wish ever again. But, I'll keep asking. If Tom's going to keep giving me his phone number, I might keep asking.
I wonder, because that's obviously he's got that, I'm sure they set aside a few minutes every day for him to return some calls. And if you don't get the call, at least he had our names. They did know who the call came from.
Right.
And okay, I'm surprised we got that, which was terrific. I wonder what would the difference have been had you answered the phone if he would have gotten into a conversation with you.
Perhaps.
And then you wonder how long he'll put up with some Yahoo going,
And I had a tomato one time, Tom, and it had a lot of green. And listen, I like a fried green tomato, but I don't like a green tomato on my Whopper. It's a little too chewy. I like my Whopper tomatoes very ripe so that I can bite right through them, and they kind of just ooze in with the other condiments. You know what I'm saying, Tom? Can we make a check? Is there any way you can only buy really
this is
ripe
about
tomatoes?
where Tom starts going, oh, yes, I'm going to hear your complaints. Yes, I understand. I'm sorry that happened to you. Yes, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Click. That's what you get about that moment.
That's when
in
he's
time.
looking at his assistant just with rage in his eyes.
Right.
Who called the tomato guy?
Because those happen as well.
Yes.
But the nice part is Burger King is actually listening. They are they want your thoughts. They want your suggestions. So 305-874-0520 if you want to call and complain about your 2 green tomato on your Whopper as well. 305-874-0520. But they are actually listening because this is where the next story regarding Burger King comes in. This is a great story as well because obviously they're home of the Whopper, Brian, which is one of your favorites.
That's why I go to Burger King to get the Whopper. And thankfully, Burger King has changed their fry recipe, so I'm good with that too. And they make a nice onion ring. But
nice.
So the Whopper's been basically the same for 10 years. Well, now because of you, American burger eaters, myself included, they've listened to our complaints, which I didn't realize was a complaint, but some people are upset. They're making subtle changes to the Whopper. Subtle is the key word, but they will be noticeable to the Whopper. So a lot of people, Jamie, I don't know if this happened with the chicken Whopper, people would say they were too mushed. Because they're just wrapped in paper. They're mushed.
No, they were good. This is at the time when this is 20-some years ago, so they still came in a nice box, right?
Well,
they didn't
they're
really have the
going back
paper,
to
right?
that.
Okay, all right.
Going back to the box. Back to the box for the Whopper. A little bit more of a premium bun.
Oh.
And a creamier mayonnaise.
Oh.
Which I didn't. And they said franchisees were suggesting the creamier mayonnaise seems like a higher end compliment to the other condiments. Back when I was a big fatty, I used to order extra mayo on my Whoppers, and man, I didn't mind that it was. I thought it was creamy because it's spread around. But so they're doing that, and the
more it
smushing
drizzles,
thing
the
is,
better it is, right?
Yes.
The more it's down the
Oh,
front
it's
of your
gotta
shirt, the better it
squirt right
is.
out
Yes.
there.
Yes. Ketchup, mayo, all over everything.
I love it.
That's the better
I love
it is.
it when
Yes.
it blends together like that.
Yes.
So yeah, they're going to revamp the burger rolls. They're going to put in the new mayonnaise. The beef patty though is staying exactly the same.
That's
So,
the important part.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't want the meat in the inside to change, because restaurants do this all the time, and there is a noticeable difference.
Yes.
They tell you there's not, but there is a noticeable
And
difference when they
that's
do
the
that.
key to the Whopper. You taste the meat.
Right.
And that Parker, that is not.
I know.
But the Whopper is I thought the Whopper was perfect as it was. But we'll see. Now I'm going to have to try
Nobody
one with
wants
the
a
new
smushy
bun.
burger. Nobody wants a smushy burger, Brian.
But if you're driving and eating it, if it's mushed a
you
little
have
bit,
to
it
have
makes it much
something-
more convenient.
Yes. See, they want you
Much
to have
more.
an experience in the restaurant. That's what that amounts to.
All right, well.
It's 8:29 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. We go from hamburgers to ranked voting in open primaries next on the Civic Media Network.
All right. We've got Tracy here this morning.
Good
There we
morning,
go.
Tracy. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Can.
Good.
Thanks
That
for
always
being
works
here.
better.
We appreciate it. I'm
This
excited to
was-
have this conversation.
I'll be honest. Watching all the videos that were passed along, I'm amazed that it's taking this long for this to be a thing.
Right.
And we'll talk about it when we're on. But I had heard about, all the ranked voting and open primaries and stuff, and the more I watched and read yesterday, I was like, boy, this makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. It just makes sense. So yes, we'll get into it when we're doing it. But first of all, congratulations on making the videos hard or easy to understand
Yes.
and easy to follow, and using the restaurant analogy I thought was brilliant. Because that puts it, like we try to put things, or I always do, in the simplest, most logical, common sense terms. And that made it, oh, you're right, I don't want a fish taco.
Right.
But if the fish taco comes in third, all right, well, then we'll give those votes to somebody else.
Yep.
So nicely
Did you
done.
watch? Did you watch the Majority Rules short video? Is that the one you're talking about?
I watched all the ones on your site and then another one on YouTube. The 30-minute one with talking about Alaska and all of that. Yeah. So I watched a bunch.
Yep. And Alaska's a huge success story.
Yes.
We can briefly
Yeah.
mention that.
Yes,
I can give some examples of things that they got done that nobody's getting done.
So, as an update to some news today, the voter ID bill has now stalled in the Senate.
Good.
Now, whether
That's what I
that
heard.
means, so whether that means that they're going to roll out this EO later this week or next week, I should say, or
Yeah,
It's
there were
insane.
at least
Nobody
four Team Red folks that bolted.
voting should not be this hard. Voting should
No.
not be this hard.
I wish I could say that the difficulty is what keeps people from voting, but I don't think it's all that. I think there's
No.
a lot of apathy and a level of disgust, which to the open primaries and ranked voting would take that away, because
Yes.
then it takes away the argument of, oh, I got to vote for the lesser of two evils. Well, it's not anymore. Now you don't have to.
Right.
Which
One of the lines I like is it changes us from the lesser of two evils to good, better, and best. Because we
Yes.
should be able to at least find three that are at least acceptable and hopefully better than that.
you hope, yeah. Or at least we know whoever wins did get the majority.
Right.
So most people, this is who most people wanted.
Yep.
No
But
matter
see,
what
this-
party. Okay.
This is why people are hesitant on things like this, because it actually makes sense and it gives people more choice. Neither party, let's be realistic, neither party wants you to have that many choices. Because
Right, but
both parties in that respect are going to be equal, right? They don't want you to have that many choices.
Right, and
but
they
as
want
the
the power.
as the congresswoman from Alaska said, that's what got people excited about voting because they did have the choice. And watching the footage of the poll worker explaining to somebody how it goes, it's very simple.
Yep. And all the exit polling showed people did not have trouble with it. They did a really good job of preparing both the clerks and the voters.
Listen, Parker, just replay what we've just been saying, and then
because this is good stuff.
Okay. That's why I'm like, oh, stop. We got to stop.
Well, we got about a minute until we're back on the air here. Tracy, just so you know, it's a 14-minute segment. When we get down to the last couple of minutes, I'll give you a hand signal how many minutes we got left. And if you start to hear music towards the end, that means we just got a couple of seconds left, so we got to wrap it up.
Roger over in Stevens Point on the hard news today asking how late our BK locations are open because his in Stevens Point are only open to 8 or 9 at night.
I think the one closest to me, I think it's 10 o'clock. Maybe midnight on the weekends.
Well, Stevens Point's a smaller town, so
Sure it is.
I get why they. I mean, everything in Baraboo closed at 8 p.m. too. So
yeah, depends on how much those high school kids are working too.
This is true as well.
Yeah. All right, we got 15 seconds here.
All right, good. Here we go.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:35 right now. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Civic Media Network. Brian, I got to say, I'm super excited for this next conversation.
I am too, and it's something that in doing research, yes, I said it again, twice in one show, Jamie, it's obvious that I'm doing a lot of research.
Rub it off on you.
I love it too because I did a lot of research on this topic yesterday, and I don't understand why it's not a thing. Because listen, everybody agrees, I think, that our political system is broken. But the question is it really broken, or is it just functioning the way it was designed to function? If you've ever looked down at your ballot and you held your nose and you're like, oh, I got to pick between the lesser of two evils, you might have thought that there's got to be a better way. Well, 5 states do think that, and they found the answer. It's open primaries and ranked voting. Now, could it work here in Wisconsin and across the country? Tracy Hunter from Voters First Wisconsin is here to talk about it. Tracy, thanks for being here. We appreciate the time. And again, it's an amazing concept. But before we get started, briefly, what is Voters First Wisconsin? What do you guys do?
Yes, thanks for having me, by the way. I'm excited to let people know more about this Final Five voting concept. Yeah, Voters First Wisconsin is a Wisconsin-based organization, all volunteer, nonprofit, cross-partisan, bipartisan. We don't have any political leaning, and our goal is to create better election systems, actually to change things, not just to promote civics. So we have 3 different things we're working on. Today we're going to be talking about Final Five voting. We're also involved in the Money in Politics, which I heard your show yesterday. Thanks for that. And then also fair maps. We're doing a lot with fair maps.
So Brian alluded to the phrase, Washington isn't broken, it's working exactly as it was designed. So explain that to us. And what does that mean? Because he alluded to sometimes you just vote for the candidates that you have to because it's a lesser of two evils. But is that actually the purpose of our elections? Because we want to, obviously we'll get into how we make them better, but explain that phrase to us.
Sure. The problem that Final Five voting is trying to address it has to do with how we do our primaries. And when primaries were introduced, it was actually for a good reason back during the progressive era. The 2 major parties have found out how to kind of use that to their advantage. And at this point, they have used the primaries, created a primary system that's a duopoly. It's a monopoly times 2, right? They get to guarantee that they're the only ones that ever have a chance of winning. I can explain, how that works. Take about 60 seconds at some point.
Yeah,
if you
do
want
it.
me to.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, so let's talk about how the current system works. So today we have a primary election either in the spring or the summer, and the parties run those, and then we have a general election in the fall. In the primary election, the parties exert a great deal of control over who gets nominated. They get to direct the money. They get to direct the dark money. They get to direct, who they nominate, and they almost always get their way. Also in primaries, only 10% of the voters, the eligible voters across the country, actually vote in primaries. So that's a very small segment that are picking the winners of the primaries, and they tend to be more partisan. We all probably vote in primaries. That's a good thing, but they tend to be more partisan. And then what happens? Then we usually get two candidates picked by the parties, and they advance to the general election, and that's when most people show up, 2/3, usually in presidential elections. And often we look at the ballots for president or Congress or whatever, and it's like you say, the lesser of two evils, and we say none of the above. And you say, why is the system broke? Well, they're controlling it to make sure that their partisan, very partisan candidates make it to the general election. And one more thing. If you talk about the U.S. Congress, the House of Representatives, 5 out of 6 districts across the country are guaranteed to be won by one party or the other. Not necessarily due to gerrymandering, but just due to demographics. It's either going to be a blue or a red. So whoever wins the primary in that party is guaranteed victory. So 10% of the voters plus the dark money and the party leadership are picking, 85% of the Congress, and that's why the number of bills they're getting done is going. It used to be around 700 or 800 50 years ago. Last year there were less than 100.
Now, when did primaries become a weapon too? Because we never used to hear about primaried used as a verb, but now now we do, and that's another part of the issue. One is they're using it as an attack. And two, if you're an independent, you don't get to vote in primaries because you have to pick a side for your ballot if you were to go vote, which is another lesser of two evils things. If I want to vote in the primary and I'm an independent, I have to go in and either pick a Republican or a Democrat.
Yes, and I don't know when the idea of primarying an existing candidate to make sure that they don't get reelected came in, but it's been used for a while and it's been used a lot lately. The other thing I wanted to highlight was both for candidates running for office, they know what they have to do in order to get elected, who they have to satisfy. It's that 10% plus the money.
Right.
If they make it in office, especially in Congress, they only have 2 years before the next election. They're really starting their reelection campaign immediately. And they know who they have to please to get reelected. So it makes total sense that they don't really care that much about their constituents because they don't need their constituents. They just need those others.
Yeah, those 10%.
Yep.
A majority of the states, and first of all, we're talking with Tracy Hunter from the from Voters First Wisconsin, votersfirstwi.org. A majority of states right now have those closed primaries, speaking of the independent voters. But there's only a handful of states right now that use fully open primaries. So how does that compare to what you're proposing with Final Five voting, Tracy?
Yeah, that's an important distinction. So let me explain how Final Five voting works.
Yes.
So it does have an open primaries concept, but that's not really what makes it effective. It also has a ranking component, but that isn't the same as ranked choice voting necessarily. It's just something that we use. So the way that Final Five voting works is there are 2 changes we would make to how we do elections. We would change the primary and we would change the general election. In the primary, we would no longer have a column for each party. Everybody would be on one single column, and all voters would get to pick one candidate, just like today, and it would be completely open. You don't have to designate, that you're leaning left, leaning right, leaning independent, or green, or whatever. Everybody gets to pick one. Here's the important thing. 5 candidates advance to the general election, not 2, 5, and you may very well get 2 from Team Red and 2 from Team Blue and independent. But they all move on. So now you have a competition in the general election for the best ideas. In fact, you have people from the same party competing for ideas. They don't just get to win because their party picked them. The other half then is what happens in the general election. Now we have 5. There's no more guarantee that every party is going to be represented there. It's really the 5 most popular primary winners, and they have to compete all the way through the general election, and the voters use a ranking system there. So there's 5 there, and they get to pick their first choice, second, third, fourth, fifth. You don't have to vote for 5, but it's to your advantage to do that. And in order to win in the general election, you need a majority. That's huge, because you know that whoever wins is favored by most people. So if somebody wins in the first round, great, we have our winner. If not, let's suppose somebody only got 40% and the rest were split up. Then what happens is the lowest vote getter candidate is removed, and their second place votes, everybody that voted for that candidate that was removed, now we take their second choice. So their vote is still alive. It gets added to the other four, and we look again, do we have a winner? And you keep doing that until you have a majority winner.
Okay. And what if it gets down to, can there be a tie? I mean, I guess there could be between the final two. What would happen in that case?
It depends how the law is written, but that wouldn't be any different than what we have today. Because conceptually, today we could have, a tie
Sure.
with.
So would
the
it be
left
an
and right.
instant runoff, or would we have to do another full election? Because some places that are trying this are doing instant runoffs, which seem to make a little more sense, a little more cost effective.
Right. Another important question. It would be an instant runoff, and so it would be calculated. It would take seconds of processing, and it's auditable at every step. If you're going to try and game this somehow in the software, sometimes you hear that criticism.
Sure.
It would have audit steps all the way through, and it would be audited, but it would be instantaneous. All of the voting systems, the tabulation machines in Wisconsin have the ability to support this ranking mechanism. They may have to do a software upgrade, but the software is available.
So there's a lot of people who argue that this would actually change how candidates campaign. And we've mentioned the dark money in politics. We've seen money flow into the state of Wisconsin. And in Alaska, who adopted a similar system back in 2022, even though they used the top four model, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is the same now.
Yep. We saw a lot more in Alaska, more door-to-door outreach, broader messaging. So why does this system encourage more of that grassroots effort than what we currently have with TV and social media and all of that?
Right. So in order to win, you need broad support. You can no longer just get that 10% plus the money. So that means you have to appeal to people across the spectrum. And in order to do that, you have to be going door to door. You have to be doing more local campaigning. Today, like in my district, they don't even campaign. It's almost scary.
We're having some technical issues.
So it opens
with
up
others.
access to these candidates so that they have.
Are we going to lose Tracy here?
I think we might be losing Tracy. But I know one of the other things that, and if see
I'm
if
back.
we can get.
Oh, there
Tracy's
we go.
back.
We got
All
him.
right.
Okay, good.
So you're talking about getting out and campaigning. It also affects negative because we all complain about the negative ads. Oh, all we see is negative ads. That changes too when you have this because, as you mentioned, you may have two candidates who are Republican, two are Democrats. Then you throw in an independent. You can't attack everybody.
Right. So the question, is this going to help with the money in politics problem? We think it should. It's too early to tell. We don't have the data yet that supports that, but common sense would say, like you just brought up, if you're a big donor, today all you have to do is throw it into one pot. Now you have to spread it around. So number one, you may not be as excited about spreading it around if it's not effective. And number two, there's going to be less money going to those candidates, more visibility. And if you support both from the same party, they're going to be competing with each other. So, that may be cut both ways for the money you donated.
I want to take a look back at Alaska because we were talking about that a little bit before the technical issues. And since they adopted a system similar to this, because this is kind of a test case, right? Alaska is. Have we seen signs that elected officials are working across the party lines more because of the way that they are voting in their elections?
Right. This is one of the most exciting things about the Alaska story. So one of the first things they did was they formed a bipartisan ruling coalition. So the way it works in every other state is whatever party's in control, they set the agenda for the whole session, right? They control everything. In Alaska, this Final Four system they have there encouraged so much cooperation that the extremists on both sides didn't want to participate. So what they did is they formed a coalition in the middle from both parties, and they set the agenda. And this is true both in their assembly and in their Senate. They've had huge success there. They did election reform last year. Who's doing election reform, right? They had a balanced budget. They had a huge number of women that were encouraged to run and win. And in fact, their state Senate has more females than males for the first time. The indigenous people there, which is a huge percentage of their population, feels much more represented. Just it looks like a win across the board.
So much so, Tracy, that after the election, there was a lawsuit that tried to ban it. It went to a referendum, and the citizens of Alaska went, "Nah, we like how this worked." And so they passed it, and so it stands. Tracy Hunter is with us. He's from Voters First Wisconsin. If you want to learn about Final Five voting, which sounds like a great idea to me, go to votersfirstwi.org, votersfirstwi.org, and learn about it, because once you start learning about it, it makes a lot of sense. Tracy, thanks for being here.
You.
Have a great weekend. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jamie and Brian.
It's like voting, actually working for the people. Crazy concept. 8:48 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan on the Civic Media Network. Take care, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That was
Thanks
fantastic.
for the great preparation. The questions were spot on.
Oh, good deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time.
Take care.
You well.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye. You too.
Bye-bye. Jamie tried to take it up and not give me enough time to say Civic Media Network, but I got it in.
Final Five voting is fascinating.
It really does make sense, and it does mean these candidates have to get out and talk to everybody
And actually campaign and not just take money. And
that congresswoman from Alaska who was going up to now, she had her seat, she got primaried, lost the seat. Then because of this, she's able to go out and she got reelected. It was a great story, and it does make sense. But boy, it's going to face an uphill battle with the money folks and the establishment.
It is, but
Big
that's why
politics.
I think Citizens United is, when you talk about the Montana plan, again, it's like what we talked about earlier today in the show. There's always a line that connects it all. Because the Montana plan is something like that working in a majority of states is going to be, I think, fascinating to see if that plays out. Because then if you can get that to work, then states are supposed to. Let's take out the national election EO and pretend that we live in a normal world for a minute. But if you take out, you look at that and states are able to actually regulate the fact that big corporations can't donate to campaigns anymore, then I feel like it makes something like Final Five voting much easier to start implementing in some of these areas.
So for Dairyland Diaries, you want to just alternate stories?
Sure.
All right. So I'll start, and then you can take the Burger Fest, and then.
Oh, right.
And then we could both do the Green Bay, because the Green Bay one we both liked. So we'll.
Works for me.
Yeah, the one question I would have liked to have asked that I just thought of now is, what was the what was the turnout? Did the turnout increase when you implemented this open ranked voting? Because I would think that does take away that argument of well, I don't like either candidate. You don't like any of the five?
There's going to be one person in the five that you like.
And if there's somebody you really like, you put them fifth.
Yeah.
And then you work your way up. So there's out of the five, you have to like one enough. You have to like somebody. Yes, this is somebody worth voting for.
Think about the fact though that it literally gives the power back to the voter. It takes out, because we have gotten to the point, obviously, where corporations are essentially voting for us based on who is their preferred candidate.
Right.
That's essentially what's happened.
All right,
and it is all predetermined.
10 seconds here.
You mean 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Or 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Until the weekend.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
It's 8:52 right now. We've made it through a Friday, and we want to leave things on a bit of a positive Wisconsin note today, right?
Yes. So we are premiering or debuting, we should say, Dairyland Diaries. So every Friday at this time, we are going to highlight some of the stories you might have missed from the week around the state. These are local Wisconsin stories focusing on real people and stories that we hope are going to give you a little emotional lift to send you off into the weekend. Because, we're dealing with a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's nice to have a feel-good story as we go. So Dairyland Diaries is our try.
Maybe educate you a little bit on the state you live in, right? We get in our bubbles, and so it's nice to get outside and know other places are doing some really cool things too, and there's other great people.
And let's start in Wausau. This is coming off the heels of the Olympics. We have the Paralympics coming up, and Matt Toombs is a lifetime Wisconsin resident from the Wausau area. He played for Team USA's wheelchair curling team in 2022 in Beijing at the Winter Paralympics. He's heading to Cortina, Italy to participate in this year's games, which are happening March 6th through the 15th. He recently did an interview with WPR, and he said while the venues for the Paralympic Games may be enormous compared to his local place, the game is exactly the same. He is the skip for the wheelchair curling team, so he's essentially the captain. It's his job to strategize how the team are going to throw its rocks, not a euphemism, and and he usually throws the final two in the match. So he discovered curling at the Wausau Curling Club, because they were offering a little clinic on come learn to hurl. And so he and his wife went down there. Hurling
Something
is
different.
the Irish game, and to hurl is another verb altogether. So they go down, he and his wife, and at first the people at the center weren't sure how to do it with a person in a wheelchair, but they figured it all out, and they did some experimentation, and he was hooked. And he said between the Olympic and Paralympic curling, there's not too many differences. They use sweepers to help guide the rock in the Olympics. In the wheelchair curling, there's no sweeping. It's just however much weight and the line that you put on the rock. And once you let go, it's all in there. So good luck to Matt Toombs as he heads to Italy with the Paralympic Games in curling. Very nice.
That's super exciting. So congratulations to him. I hope he brings home a medal. We also have Burger Fest. Come on now. This is going to, who doesn't love a good Burger Fest? It's going to take place in Seymour, but it's actually moving from its traditional August spot on to September of this year. The city's annual celebration as the home of the burger will be on September 19th. I feel like I need to go check out something that calls themselves themselves the home of the burger.
Did you know that Seymour was the home of the burger?
I did not know Seymour was. I'll be honest. I'm not a Wisconsin native, so somebody'd have to tell me even where Seymour is actually at. I'm not. I want to learn on this show too.
All right.
So according to a February 22nd announcement on the Home of the Burger Facebook page, which now I definitely have to go check out, they say this year we're building something even bigger, more fun, and more community focused than ever. So there's been plans for incorporating a fall festival type activity into all of this. This is the 36th annual event, by the way. There's a harvest-style farmers market, pumpkins for the kiddos and adults, bobbing for apples, and a lot of other fall family activities. And if you visit, you can expect a little involvement from some vendors, some local businesses. There's also live music, some expanded beer selections.
Hey.
And the festival has also confirmed the ketchup slide will be back. When someone asked in the Facebook
wondering about that.
I do not know. What is a ketchup slide? Because I think I need to know.
I think it's self-explanatory.
Do I slide in ketchup? Is it like a slip and slide in ketchup?
That's what it sounds like. Or one of those big slides that you get on like one of the mats and you shoot down.
Okay.
Seymour,
I'm always up for a fun slide.
Seymour, Jamie, is just west of Green Bay, a little west. So it's Green Bay, then you get to Oneida, and then you get to Seymour.
Oh, okay. I know
if
exactly
you go to
then where
Black
that's
Creek,
at.
you got too far. You want to turn around, go back, look for the ketchup slide, and you'll be in.
Right, and the big sign that I'm sure says "Home of the Burger."
I would imagine, yes.
I would imagine so.
As I'm seeing this, so that'll be fun. Now we both saw this story, and this is another good story. It comes to you from Green Bay. A mother and daughter have raised over $20,000 to open a Puerto Rican food business as a recent TikTok video went viral because, Jamie, as you can imagine, big government and big regulation tried to stomp out a dream.
Yes, absolutely. The mom and daughter are Rebecca and Judy Valentin. They launched a cafe on February 1st from the community center inside the fort at the rail yard in Green Bay, where they are residents. Just a couple of hours after starting to sell their empanadas, though, some neighbors called the police, who shut them down for not having proper licensing.
Come on, Karen. Just enjoy an empadilla and a quesito.
Have a good time. A retail food license license or food processing plant license is required to make and sell food items in public, according to the Wisconsin Food Processing, blah, blah, blah. Right. Rebecca said she thought the LLC creation and the Serve Safe certification, which certifies food service professionals, was enough to start selling their food. And then a guy got hold of this on social media, Brian.
Yeah, Jake Freeman did a little TikTok video. He sent it out, and people were not happy. So Jake started a GoFundMe campaign with a $20,000 goal. As of the 15th, they had reached that goal. They got $20,000, 410, and then so now they're going to use that money to get permits and to buy a small food truck, or they're going to rent out a building with the community kitchen, and it will serve authentic Puerto Rican fried snacks, including empadillas. They'll sell pastries, including pastelitos, and which is a small version of an empanada with sweet filling. So good for them. This is that's a nice story, and it's entrepreneurial, and it's people helping people.
I love that.
Wonderful. Yeah. So that's Dairyland Diaries. We'll do it every Friday just to leave on a happy note, because God knows, man, we're beaten down all week, so we might as well leave happy on a Friday.
We do have to leave happy, and today we've talked about food, we've talked about a giant ketchup slide, and a potential curling champion. I mean, what more could you ask for on a Friday?
That's upbeat, Jamie. If that doesn't,
I love it.
If that doesn't put the sunshine in your daybreak, I don't know what does.
It
I'm
absolutely
going to punch
should.
myself in the face, because that's.
Now you're too happy.
Excuse
What
me.
is
Yeah,
this?
now I'm too happy. I'm going to go to see my wife. She's going to go, "What happened to you? Are you drunk?" Not yet, baby, but it's Friday.
And it's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. Thank you for being with us all week. We appreciate you listening. Tell your friends. Follow us on socials. I got nothing else, Jamie.
It's a Civic Media Network.
Bye.
All right, folks. X1 show, X1 day. Have a good weekend. We will see you.
Parker seems tired and stressed.
Parker's
So
still
tired.
stressed from 5:50.
To be fair, it's just a stressful. All is stressful.
We're stressful. That's
Welcome
what
to
I'm
the-
hearing.
Yeah, we cause Parker stress.
It's fine. All right, live stream. Have a good weekend. We'll see you.